Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Classified Captures. Steve here, and today I've got a collection of clips ranging from cryptid sightings to glitches in our matrix that may just leave you shocked yet craving more. Ready? Let's jump in. Starting today's episode, we've got this clip captured by tourists in Mexico. The video shows a jellyfish-like creature floating in the air. Its movement is fluid, as if it's drifting through the water, but it's clearly up in the sky. According to witnesses, this bizarre entity appeared for about 25 seconds before vanishing into the clouds, almost as if it entered a portal. These jellyfish-like creatures in the sky have been a phenomenon often attributed to extraterrestrial activity. The way it moved and disappeared has led many to speculate that it might be some form of alien life or a spacecraft cloaked in a way that mimics natural organisms. Julius, on the other hand, thinks it's doctored footage of a sea hare. For those unfamiliar, the sea hare is a fascinating marine mollusk belonging to the order Anaspidea, known for its distinctive soft and wrinkled body that resembles a hare's ears. They're gentle creatures often found in shallow coastal waters. So yeah, it really does look like a marine creature, but what do you think? Is this a glimpse of something not from our world, or is there a more terrestrial explanation for this strange sighting? Next, we've got footage that was taken by a tourist who had visited Thailand back in 2022.
What the fuck is that? What's that?
They went biking through the woody mountains and had to walk part of the way to reach one of their destinations. In the video, you can see one person walking ahead of the person filming. When they got to the top, they set the camera down, and that's when the camera guy noticed something among the trees. They went to investigate but didn't see anything. However, the camera captured a creature. It was a reptilian-like entity that crept out from the bushes and quickly went back into hiding when the men moved closer. You can see its shoulders, head, and one arm it used to climb out. The hands, shoulders, and head looked humanoid except that the body was reptilian and the palm appeared webbed. What could this mysterious creature be? Is it a cryptid, some unknown species, or perhaps something else entirely? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section.
What the fuck is that? What's that?
The nighttime is when a lot of sinister and unexplainable things happen. Take a look at this surveillance footage. The camera was set outside a house, looking out at the woods nearby in the dead of night. Then, out of nowhere, this happened. A strange entity just dropped out of the sky and jumped off. It looks like it's humanoid, but because of how fast it moved, there isn't much we can say about it. It also has this white glow to it, but since this footage is in black and white, we can't tell if it's wearing a white dress or if the creature itself is glowing. Adding to the mystery was the fact that there were no reports of any disturbances or noises in the area that night. The homeowners checked the footage the next morning after noticing some strange marks on the ground where the entity landed. Could this be an extraterrestrial visitor or perhaps a spectral entity? Let us know what you think in the comments section. If you've been watching our channel for the past few weeks, then you're aware of the fact that strange cloud formations have been spotted all around the world, and eerily, they look so similar to each other, even though each clip comes from a different place and time. One popular variation is clouds that are ring-shaped with smoke like dust swirling around them. Many people believe these formations are cloaked UFOs, while others suggest they might be portals. On the other hand, skeptics argue that they're just natural cloud formations and nothing more. The striking similarity between these sightings raises questions. How can these clouds appearing in such different locations look almost identical? Could there be a connection, or is it just a coincidence? Are they a sign of something more, or just nature playing tricks on us? Julia scoffs anytime we bring this up, but Aaron insists there's something going on. But what do you guys think?
我拍了看。
This image was taken by Miria Mayer, an American anthropologist and primatologist. Because of her job, she was out in the woods, and the image is actually a screenshot from a video she recorded. According to her, while she was out in the woods, she felt eyes on her, but couldn't make out what it was. Later, while going through the clips she had recorded, she discovered that there was actually a creature hidden among a pile of dried leaves. It appeared to be an ape-like being, just staring straight at her. Cryptid enthusiasts believe this could be evidence of a Sasquatch lurking in the area. The creature's dark, shadowy figure blends almost seamlessly with the forest floor, making it hard to spot unless you know where to look. Maria's expertise and the detailed context of the situation lend credibility to this sighting. Could it be that she stumbled upon one of the most elusive cryptids in existence, or is she just seeing things? Our next clip is one of many videos about people discovering fake plastic food items. This woman's example involves chicken. Take a look.
Does something look wrong here? Like, why is it like that? Look at it. And it's like, it feels like there's skin on it, but it's boneless and skinless. Like,
just look at the texture. It appears to have a plastic covering, and as she pokes it, it feels mushy inside. What is going on out there? What is happening to our food? Seeing something as fundamental as a chicken looking and feeling fake is unsettling. How can consumers ensure the food they're buying is real and safe to eat? The idea of fake food infiltrating our market is both alarming and infuriating. So far, however, we've had accounts of people online. Can any of you confirm if you have ever come across something like this, or at least personally know someone who has? We want to make sure this isn't propaganda, and quite frankly, we don't think it is. But we want to give it the benefit of the doubt.
does something look wrong here? Like, why is it like that? Look at it.
Next, we got a homeowner who, after purchasing a house, was doing a second thorough check and came across something disturbing. There was a dent in the roof, and as she looked through, she saw this. Between the cracks, there was a grotesque face staring back at her. It didn't look human at all, and it left her unsettled and quite frankly disturbed. What is this thing living there? Also, she had already bought the house at this point, leaving her with no option but to deal with the unsettling discovery. Imagine the shock of finding such a creature hidden in your home. What could it be? A wild animal? A strange entity? Or something else entirely? What would you do if you found something like this in your home? This next image was taken from a monitor. A woman had her sick mother staying with her, needing constant attention and care. Since she was busy most of the time, she set up a camera in the room to keep an eye on her mother. One evening, while glancing at the monitor, she noticed something strange. There was this glowing arm, seemingly ethereal, gently resting on her mother's arm as she slept. The arm appeared almost translucent, with a soft, otherworldly glow surrounding it. It wasn't a part of her mother's body, nor did it belong to anyone else in the room. The woman was understandably shocked and concerned. The glowing arm seemed to be touching her mother with a delicate, almost comforting gesture. Some might say it looked like a guardian spirit, offering a calming presence in a time of need. Others could argue it was a trick of the light, perhaps a reflection or glamour glitch. But what do you think?
Mira, allá anda atrás del árbol un ovni. Lo miramos y se anda escondiendo y ahí anda jugando atrás del árbol. Mira. Oye, va para arriba. Ay, papá. Ya subimos de la lámpara, ya subimos de la lámpara.
This footage, taken in Mexico back in 2015, captures a curious and unexplained sighting. A group of men were hanging out at night when they noticed something unusual in the sky. Intrigued, they zoomed in on the glowing object, and what they found left them puzzled. The object was unlike any regular UFO or drone they had ever seen. It appeared to be a rock-like structure, but it didn't have a defined shape. Instead, it was irregular and oddly shiny, casting an eerie glow as it hovered in the night sky. The object's appearance was far from what one might expect from a typical aircraft or drone, adding to the mystery. What are we really looking at here? Could it be some unknown technology, or perhaps a natural phenomena that's yet to be explained? Share your thoughts. A man was at a dam when he noticed something unusual, a set of 3 fins cutting through the surface of the water. At first glance, they looked like the fins of a fish, but their sheer size and location raised some serious questions. How could fish that large have ended up in a dam like this? Some people argue that these fins belong to a group of large fish, somehow finding their way into the dam. Others, however, believe that there's something far more intriguing and possibly more dangerous beneath the water. Could it be an undiscovered aquatic creature, or maybe even something from the deep that has ventured into unknown territory? Hard to say, but what do you think? A hiker was out in the foggy woods when he started to feel uneasy, so he took out his phone and began to record his surroundings. That is when he found this. There in the fog was a tall, dark figure. As he moved further and looked around, the figure seemed to be everywhere. He didn't know if it was the same figure appearing repeatedly or if there were multiple figures, but it seemed these strange figures were following him. Imagine the fear and confusion in such a situation, being surrounded by mysterious figures in the fog, unsure if it's a trick of the light or something more sinister. The eerie presence and the feeling of being watched would send chills down anyone's spine. What could these figures be? Are they shadows or something supernatural?
Begin 2 ends.
A man was driving at night when he noticed something alarming. Ahead of him, a small 4-wheeled cycle was moving along the road. But it wasn't just cruising, it had something attached to the back that was spewing fire onto the side of the road, which bordered a forest. As the man continued to drive, you could clearly see a line of fire trailing behind the cycle, setting the base of the woods ablaze. The person on the cycle kept going, leaving a long, burning path in their wake. The sight was shocking, and the first thought that came to mind was arson. With so many forest fires occurring without any clear cause, this scene looked incredibly suspicious. One commenter, however, suggested a different explanation: a ditch burning. For those unfamiliar with it, ditch burning is a controlled method used to clear vegetation or debris, often on the sides of the road or fields. It's typically done to prevent larger uncontrolled fires by eliminating potential fuel for wildfires. But even if that's the case, the way it was being done here at night, with fire spreading into the forest, seems reckless and dangerous. But what do you guys think? Is this a case of controlled ditch burning gone wrong, or is there something more sinister at play? I will be reading your comments. Before we dive into the next clip, I have a quick question. What's the best time of day to go hiking? Because, honestly, I've seen one too many scenarios where people decide to hike in the woods at night, and it almost always ends up with something creepy or downright terrifying. Take this footage, for example. A man was hiking deep in the woods around sundown when things took a turn. As he moved through the trees, he suddenly noticed something ahead, a dark, hulking figure that seemed to pop its head out from behind a tree and just stared at him. The moment he saw it, instinct kicked in and he bolted out of there. Some believe it was a Bigfoot lurking in the shadows, while skeptics suggest it might just have been a person playing a creepy prank. But whatever it was, encountering it at that time of day in such an isolated place is enough to make anyone rethink their hiking plans. So what do you think? Is there a right time to hike, or does the thrill of the unknown make those twilight hikes worth the risk? This strange-looking fish was captured by a group of fishermen in Mexico, and it's got everyone scratching their heads. At first glance, it looks like a very flattened frog with an odd, almost comical appearance. But this peculiar creature is actually known as an Odococephalus, commonly referred to as a batfish. The Odococephalus belongs to a group of fish that are bizarre as they are fascinating. With their flattened bodies and limb-like fins, they resemble a mix between a frog and a fish. These creatures usually dwell in the deep sea, where their unusual features help them navigate the ocean floor. Instead of swimming like most fish, they use their fins to walk along the bottom, hunting for prey in the dark depths. Have you ever seen a fish like this before? This video was taken from a security camera set up in the living room of a house. The homeowner was just casually reviewing the footage when he noticed something odd. Take a look at it. Did you see that? There on the left side of the table, a ghostly figure just walked by. It's so transparent that if you didn't look closely, you might have missed it. Now, what's intriguing is that the homeowner mentioned he'd never experienced any paranormal activity in his house, even after discovering this footage. So what could this be? Was it just an entity casually strolling through the house? I mean, they say that entities are all around us, we just can't see them. Could this be one of those moments where the veil between our world and theirs briefly lifted? It's eerie to think about the possibility of spirits or entities moving about, unnoticed in our daily lives. What do you make of this? I know it's been a while, but thought before we move on to the next clip, I'd give you a short quiz in our bonus session. What I'm about to show you is something only a few have seen. If you know what it is, then you are no average person. Do you know what this is? Have you seen it before? Can you share one unique characteristic about it? If you can, then the comments section is all yours. Educate and wow us. Give Julius a run for his money. Pause the clip and tell us all you know. I can't wait to receive your comments.
Then the ice starts to go from smooth to starting to break up here.
Like, where are we right now? What planet is this? Just take a photo picture. I like how that Earth is meeting the glacier. See that interesting shape?
Oh wow,
It's
yeah.
making-
Just mesmerized. I've never seen terrain like this.
It's so insane, isn't it? How? Because this is right at the edge of it.
These two guys shared a video of themselves allegedly flying over the forbidden icy walls of Antarctica. Take a look. It's just ice as far as the eye can see, stretching out endlessly beneath them. But as captivating as it seems, most viewers aren't buying it. The skeptics were quick to weigh in. One commenter said, "Although I'd like to see Antarctica from this view, I'm pretty sure these guys are in Alaska." Another added, "This is not behind the ice wall, lol. This looks very much like the Alletschlechte in Switzerland." But here's the twist. Some believers argue that this skepticism is exactly what they want. By discrediting videos like this, they say the truth stays hidden in plain sight. Could it be that these guys are onto something, or is it just another case of mistaken geography? So what do you think? Also, did I say the name of the place in Switzerland right? Because to me it sounded like complete gobbledygook. Maybe someone can give me a pronunciation in the comments section.
Then the ice starts to go from smooth to starting to break up here.
Like, where are we right now? What planet is this? Just take a photo picture.
This was sent in by a subscriber who had just set up his trail camera deep in the woods. He was hoping to spot some prey as he prepared for hunting season. But when he came back the next day to check the images, what he found was beyond anything he could have expected. The camera captured something truly unsettling, a creature that looked almost human, but with features that were anything but. It was completely bald, with hollow, empty eyes that seemed to stare right into your soul. Its mouth was wide open, revealing no teeth, just darkness, and where its nose should have been, there was only a gaping hole, giving it an even more skeletal appearance. The creature was crouched down, so the lower part of its body was hidden in the shadows, but what you could have seen was extremely emaciated, as if it had been starving for ages. What could this be? What's going on with these cars? The front hoods are inflated like balloons. I was very confused myself, especially since in one of the clips the person was still driving the car. I thought it would explode, but one commenter said that this was just the car wrapped inflating due to heat. It turns out that the car wrap, a protective or decorative covering applied to the vehicle, can sometimes expand or bubble up when exposed to high temperatures. This creates an alarming appearance of an inflated hood, but it's generally not a sign of an imminent explosion. While it looks dramatic, it's a reminder of how heat can affect different materials on our cars. It's always best to keep an eye on such occurrences and consult a professional if you notice any unusual change in your vehicle. Have you ever seen something like this happen? What was your initial reaction? This video is said to be leaked footage from one of the secret bases hidden around the world. The story goes that someone managed to sneak inside, and what they found is downright eerie. The footage shows rows upon rows of hyper-realistic human face masks. These masks are unlike anything you've ever seen before. Made of silicone, they look incredibly lifelike, almost indistinguishable from real human faces. every wrinkle, every pore, and even the slight imperfections you'd expect on a real face are there, making these masks appear disturbingly realistic. The camera pans across the room, revealing racks filled with these faces, hanging like some sort of macabre gallery. The sight is unsettling, faces without bodies, just waiting to be worn. What makes this even more bizarre is how advanced these masks seem to be. They go far beyond the silicone masks you might find in a costume shop. These look like they could fool anyone into thinking they were real. It begs the question, what could these masks be used for? Is there a darker purpose behind their creation? The idea that these faces could be worn by someone to impersonate another person sends chills down my spine. If this footage is real, it opens up a Pandora's box of possibilities, from secret agents using them for covert missions to something more sinister like identity theft on a level we've never imagined. What do you think is really going on here? Back to the subject of portals, someone captured this strange sight while on a plane. We're not exactly told where the person was headed, but it was uploaded as real footage and it's got the paranormal community scratching their heads. Looking at the clip, it looks like some translucent circular contraption. The individual who uploaded it insists it's an interdimensional portal, even though we see nothing coming in or going out through it. A number of individuals who saw the original post stated they believed it was true. Others also expressed skepticism and gave sarcastic comments teasing the USA for being the country to experience a number of these incidents. Now you guys see the clip. What do you also think about it? This footage was taken in Mexico. Two men were outside when they noticed an odd-looking star. Out of nowhere, the star emitted a green laser beam that moved around and then vanished. Paranormal enthusiasts believe this could be evidence of alien activity. However, one commenter offered a different perspective that got me thinking. Fake. It's a hill where the green laser is being pointed by someone on the hill. Those laser pointers are sold at fairs. You've seen the clip as well. Do you think this could be the case here? Let us know in the comments section if you think this explanation makes sense or if you have another theory. We'll be reading. What do you think is happening here? When I first saw this, I shouted demon possession. But I decided to calmly watch the clip and I don't know. But I felt this overwhelming feeling of sadness. I had to change my script a couple of times for this one. I took a break and decided to do some research and found out why. This could actually be an individual experiencing Tourette syndrome. For those unfamiliar, Tourette syndrome is a neurological disorder characterized by the presence of repetitive, involuntary movements and vocalizations known as tics. These tics can be motor, such as blinking or head jerking, or vocal, such as grunting or throat clearing. The onset of Tourette's typically occurs in childhood, with symptoms often appearing between the ages of 5 and 10. While the exact cause is not fully understood, it's believed to involve a combination of genetic and environmental factors. The severity and type of tics can vary greatly among individuals, but while there is no cure, treatments including behavioral therapy, medication, and supportive therapies can help manage symptoms and improve quality of life. If that's what the person in the clip is experiencing, it's sad. Perhaps that's why I felt sad watching it. What do you guys think? We all know that the King of Pop, Michael Jackson, passed away in 2009. However, there have been rumors that he might not actually be dead and that his death was a lie. Take a look at this footage. The ambulance that was supposed to have taken his body wrapped in a white sheet on a stretcher was secretly filmed by a fan at another building. Instead of wheeling out a body, the man is seen guiding a smaller person out of the van and in the building. And that's not all. After his death, a man named Dave appeared on TV, and his voice sounded eerily similar to Michael Jackson's. Take a listen.
And there were all these Paul McCartney records all over this, The Girl Is Mine, and, this and that. 13 solo albums, solo appearances on TV shows. And there were all these Paul McCartney records. But of course, you always feel things out.
Hear that? Yeah, very similar. Michael Jackson was known for his exceptional skill in disguises because of how people would swarm him whenever he went out. He often wore elaborate disguises that were incredibly convincing. He was a master of disguise. So what do you think? Did Michael Jackson fake his own death to gain freedom, or is this theory too extreme to believe? I'm going to need a scientific explanation for this next one. In the clip, a girl turns on the tap in the kitchen sink, and as the water flows, she places an egg under the running water, leaves it there, and it just floats. How is this even possible? Normally, an egg would sink to the bottom of the sink due to its density. However, in this footage, the egg remains suspended in the stream of water, seemingly defying gravity. One possible explanation is that the force of the water creates a balance with the weight of the egg, allowing it to float. The continuous flow of water may be generating enough upward force to counteract the egg's natural tendency to sink. It's safe to say I'm no Julius because I do not know what I'm saying. What do you think is happening here? Could it really be a simple physics trick, or is there something more at play here? A man was walking by these lush green plants when he noticed something unusual. There was movement beneath the foliage. It seemed there was a mass hidden under the plants, but it wasn't just static. Something really big was moving beneath the surface. The way the plants shifted and rustled indicated that whatever was underneath had significant size and strength. Could it be a large animal, a hidden mechanism, or something else entirely? The sheer mystery of the situation is enough to pique anyone's curiosity and concern. Just before the clip ends, however, we see something foggy around the area the greens are rustling. What do you think it could be? This beautiful cloud in the sky looks like a stairway. Now, this has been a phenomenon that has been sighted all around the world. It's quite mesmerizing to see, but it also has everyone asking, is this literally a stairway to heaven, a glimpse into the divine, or is it just some weather phenomenon? These cloud formations, often referred to as ladder clouds or staircase clouds, captivate our imaginations with their seemingly perfect steps ascending into the sky. While many find spiritual or mystical significance in these formations, meteorologists have explanations rooted in atmospheric science. Such formations can occur due to specific wind patterns and moisture levels, causing clouds to align in a visually striking manner. So what do you think? Is this a good enough explanation, or do you think there is more?
Get closer to it.
man was driving out of a parking lot when he noticed something unusual in the sky. Intrigued, he parked his car and zoomed in with his camera. There it was, a UFO hovering in the sky. Unlike the animated footage we're used to seeing, this one looked like the real deal. The object wasn't moving very fast and it was drifting slowly across the sky. The slow and steady movement of the UFO made the sighting even more compelling. This isn't a quick flash or a blurry speck, it's clear and deliberate. Could this be genuine evidence of extraterrestrial activity? This footage was taken at a yard sale. A woman came across a stand with various items like wooden ladles, mirrors, and other knickknacks. But what stood out was the doll sitting on the table. Take a close look at it. Do you see that? The doll is moving its head ever so slowly. You might almost miss it. It's subtle but undeniably eerie. We don't know if the doll is designed to move with a hidden mechanism or battery, but given its haunting appearance, the woman didn't stick around to find out. She captured the unsettling scene on her phone and quickly moved on. Yard sales are full of unique and sometimes creepy items, but this one takes the cake. Dolls already have a reputation for being a bit spooky, but one that moves on its own, that's a whole different level of creepy. Now tell me, would you buy this for your child, or would you leave it at the yard sale where it belongs? This video was taken in China back in June 2024. A Chinese commercial space company named Space Pioneer was testing out a rocket. Unfortunately, things did not go as planned. The rocket detached from its stand and 50 seconds after it was launched came crashing down on the mountainside. Luckily, there was no casualties. Incidents like this highlights the risk and challenges involved in space exploration. While unfortunate, it's a reminder of the complexity and danger of launching rockets. Each failure, though costly, provides valuable lessons for future endeavors. What do you think about the risks involved in space exploration? Do the benefits outweigh the potential dangers? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Recently, Ryan Garcia has been sharing his views on various government conspiracies. In this footage, he makes a video while hospitalized with tubes up his nose. Take a look.
Come on now, the rapture is coming, Jesus is coming back, the aliens, they already have Project Bluebeam. Project Bluebeam is the fact that aliens are being slowly put out, okay? Project Bluebeam is this. Why do you think they slowly started putting out aliens since Roswell? Because you can't handle the truth right away. It would have caused a great mass delusion or whatever, right? Just everybody would be chaotic. So they do slowly, and it's for a reason, because it says in the Bible that there'll be a great delusion cast on earth. What do you think that great delusion is? And you guys can pull up the verses.
In the video, Garcia discusses how the talk of aliens is propaganda designed to deceive us when the rapture happens. He claims that aliens are not otherworldly beings, but demons in disguise. Garcia's perspective is certainly provocative and has sparked a lot of debate. His stance is that these so-called extraterrestrial encounters are part of a larger deception to distract humanity from spiritual truths. Given his background as a professional boxer, it's intriguing to see him delve into such controversial topics. It's worth noting that Garcia's outspoken views have cost him his standing in the boxing community, adding another layer to the discussion. What do you think on his take on these matters?
What do you think they're going to get tricked by? They're going to get tricked by that it was an alien abduction. Understand, this is happening in real time. You guys need to wake up. Who's involved? The people, the principalities, the powers that be, the ones that are setting it up, the ones that are releasing the footage. Listen to what I'm saying. It's happening. I told you guys about the rules of satanic worship. It needs to be in front of your face. Why do you think they put the stuff on Simpsons? Why do you think all the things are right in front of your face, but nobody is paying attention? They're like, there's no way that could be true.
There's a reason demolitions are done by trained professionals, and our next clip demonstrates that fact exceptionally. Did you see that? First of all, being that close to the structure in this state was risky. Secondly, to bring it down while standing so close to it was also risky. He's very, very lucky to have escaped with no scratch. Whatever you do, never do what this guy did in the clip. You have friends and family that care about you too much for your life to be snuffed out by something like this. One look at this, and paranormal enthusiasts might speculate it's a cursed creature, a skinwalker, or a shapeshifter. But let me burst your bubble. It's simply a deformed goat. Meet this remarkable goat born without its hind legs, yet thriving and living just like any other farm animal in China. Experts believe that this deformity may have been caused by a calcium-phosphorus imbalance due to the mother's pregnancy or other complications. Most younglings do not even make it out of the womb alive, and if they do, they barely survive a week. But this little guy here happens to be among the strong few. The deformed animal can move gracefully and balance itself on its front legs without a problem. Just look at this little guy go. This is a miracle on two legs. Next up, we have another capture from a trail cam in the woods. In this motion trail capture, we see an ape-like creature walking through the woods as though it were no one's problem. But once you start taking a critical look at the creature, you soon realize that it's no ape at all. It's longer arms than you'd expect from a traditional ape, and it's moving in a way apes do not naturally move. Its movements almost look human-like, which the most skilled chimpanzee would not be capable of emulating. What's more, the area within which the footage was taken has no apes in the region. There's only one explanation, the sighting then, Bigfoot. But what do you think? Oh no, this is just heartbreaking. The owner of the trail cam must have been excited to check out the wild animal footage, but instead they stumbled upon this heart-wrenching image. In the photo, there's a dog with its head stuck in a container. Can you imagine how scared and helpless that poor pup must feel? It's likely a stray dog just trying to find some food in someone's trash, but things took a terrible turn when its head got trapped in that container. It's heartbreaking to think that the dog is probably struggling to eat or drink with that thing stuck on its head. And what's worse, the container has been on for days. Can you imagine how hungry and thirsty that dog must be? I only hope and pray that the container isn't airtight, or else the poor thing could be in even more danger. The owner of the camera tried to find the dog and help, but no luck so far. I can only hope and wish that someone out there found this sweet pup and gave it the care and love it deserves. It breaks my heart to think of that poor dog suffering all alone. Let's keep all our fingers crossed and send positive vibes that someone came to the rescue and gave this furry friend a second chance at a better life. This next trail cam was captured on a path in the woods. When the owner retrieved the footage, discovered something jaw-dropping and sinister. Take a look at the video. Did you see that? Watch it again. Looking closely behind the trees, there you can see a white shadowy figure moving swiftly through the woods. What could that apparition be? Some kind of ghost or a spirit? Could this be some kind of camera trick? I doubt that because it all looks so real. The very idea of coming across a ghost or spirit is fascinating. Across history, there have been countless reports of supernatural sightings, and stories of ghostly figures are deeply rooted in various cultures. Perhaps those stories are true after all, because, well, how else do you explain this and the countless realistic ghost images we have seen on this channel so far? Next up is this odd footage that was taken across the street in the city. At first glance, you'll think the creature in view is a stray dog, but as the video plays out, you realize that it looks nothing like your everyday dog. Its body proportions do not fit the description of a regular dog, and it appears to be hairless, almost sharing the likeness of a chupacabra. But what if it's not just sharing the likeness of the chupacabra, but is actually one? As the video shows, it's seen munching on something, or should I say, sucking out its blood. And we all know who's infamous for feasting on livestock blood, right? None other than the good old Chuppy. Now, here's a $1 million question. Do you think that that's just some stray dog, or could it possibly be a real-life chupacabra? Tell us in the comments section. Have you ever seen a man killer? Well, we start today's video with one. The image you see on your screen is a capture that the uploader believed was a cryptid. If you have been following this channel for a very long time, then you should know what we mean when we say cryptid. It refers to creatures like Bigfoot and Dogman and what have you. Upon closer examination of this image, it becomes apparent why. While the creature may look like the American black bear, there are some differences. It has longer limbs and a longer face and seems to be capable of walking on its hind legs. Could we be looking at another type of cryptid never seen before? Although it's tempting to embrace the excitement of the paranormal community and declare a new cryptid, a simple Google image search reveals that this is a Mexican black bear. It's the cousin of the American black bear and is known to possess the features seen in the image. In other words, there's nothing weird or odd happening here. A man who had set up his Trailcam overnight to capture wildlife went to review the footage his cam had captured and was greeted with a capture that had humans instead of animals. Take a look. The footage starts off with two men walking into the woods, after which they are joined by a third. These men look like they mean business given how they're moving with purpose and seriousness. The flash lamps they carry in their hands give off the vibe that they may be searching for something, but what exactly? This is where it gets interesting. We don't have to wait too long for our answer because within a few minutes they return from the woods dragging along a younger male. The first question that came to mind was, are they kidnapping him? I mean, you can never be too sure of late, right? The truth, however, turns out to be less sinister than that. The young man we see in the footage got drunk and went into the woods where he got lost. These men simply went out to look for him, and fortunately, they found him. They basically saved his life, and it was captured on tape. Interesting, right? For this next one, well, I don't even have words for it. Perhaps I should just show you. This thing looks like a man-sized bug with the features of so many other creatures. I mean, I can see some bird-like features, some pointy ears, limbs that look like tentacles, among other features that look borrowed from other animals. According to the one whose trail camera apparently took the picture, it's a mystical creature that's haunted that side of the woods where his trail camera was planted. As much as I love the paranormal as the next guy, this has false written all over it. I mean, how? The image is likely AI generated and edited to catch us off guard, but I'm not buying it. It looks like the least real thing we've had on this channel. But what do you think, though? Do you believe that this is very real, or am I just too blinded by logic to see it? Tell me in the comments section, as I'd really love to know. You know, we shouldn't even be fazed by these sightings anymore. Back in the day, if I stumbled upon this Trailcam footage, I'd debunk it without hesitation. But at this point, when scientists are trying to resurrect woolly mammoths, the likelihood of a dinosaur roaming around is not impossible. Technically speaking, though, that's not a T-Rex. It's too small to be. Instead, it's a velociraptor, and although smaller, these things are no joke. Sure, it could be a hoax, but considering the remarkable progress of science, we might actually have a real-life Jurassic Park in just a few years, which sounds fun, but then could also spell doom for all humanity. Whether or not we bring back dinosaurs is a topic for another day. Today, we want to get to the bottom of this. Do you think it's real, or is this fake? Going back to North England, we have this Trailcam capture from September 2010 that we'd like you to see. A man living in the area had been noticing the apples in his orchard were getting stolen and he couldn't tell how. To get to the bottom of it, he installed a Trailcam and it captured what you see on your screen. Initially, he couldn't tell what he was looking at, but after a while, he realized it was a giant creature picking an apple from the ground. It's a hairy giant, almost like a giant ape. But that's where it gets odd, because there are no apes in New England. It took a while, but the owner of the footage soon realized it actually potentially captured a Sasquatch. Looking at the features in the image, although blurry, it has to be, right? Tell us what you think. Still on animals detecting things you wouldn't expect them to, we have this interesting Trailcam footage. Watch. In the footage, we see two deer grazing. One of the two, however, is jittery and keeps looking around as though it were expecting a predator or felt something that was not right. I was tempted to think it might be normal behavior. That was, at least until I noticed the translucent thing that moved across the screen right when it turned. What was that strange thing? Is it a paranormal entity? Did that deer just notice a paranormal being? Does that mean animals are capable of detecting beings beyond our plane? Or is this video cleverly edited to make it look that way? So many questions, yet no answers. Tell us, what do you think? We'd really love to know. Still on canine creatures, we move to southern Texas for our next clip. Have a look. The creature you see on your screen was captured by a couple while they were out exploring the woods. While we're unsure of how they managed to catch it, one thing is certain. When they captured the creature, they found it far from normal looking. They compared it to all the local species of small animals in the neighborhood, but the creature was just too different from all of them. Even the local dogs in the area. Being believers in the paranormal, they started to believe that they may have actually caught the legendary chupacabra. As we watch the footage, it's easy to see why they might have thought that. The creature looks like a mangy dog, and many descriptions of the chupacabra mention a hairless canine creature that drinks blood and fluids from its animal victims. While the animal fits the bill, it does seem a bit small for that description. Beyond that, it doesn't look like that thing consumes blood, as it was being fed powdery feed, which I'm pretty sure it consumed. But if it's not a chupacabra, what then is it? Or am I the one being too bad a skeptic? Share your thoughts in the comment section. Although the first capture could be explained, we can't say the same for this footage. This was captured by individuals who were going through a path in the woods, hoping to capture glimpses of wildlife. As they drove deeper into the woods, spending a considerable amount of time, it seems that their hopes of spotting any wildlife were dwindling. Just as their hopes were fading, they spot something odd-looking in the distance. It looks like a creature covered in abundant fur, but here's the kicker. It's strolling on 2 feet, just like us humans. Even the nimblest chimps can't manage the grace and fluidity with which this creature moves. Stunned, they yearn to approach the creature for a closer look, but alas, it vanished from their sight, leaving an indelible mark on their minds. They get close and stop at the exact spot where they lost sight of the creature. At that moment, the realization dawned upon them. The creature had vanished into the woods. However, despite their intense curiosity, none of them mustered the courage to venture deeper in search of answers. I can't say I blame them given the odd-looking nature of what they'd seen. I'd be apprehensive too. But I want answers. What exactly was that? My team and I delved into research and made a fascinating discovery. The footage hails from New England in North America. Now, if you're familiar with the paranormal community, you'll know that this region is renowned for its numerous Bigfoot sightings. This leads us to a burning question. Had they narrowly missed seeing Bigfoot in its full glory? Tell us what you think in the comments section. This photo was taken in the woods where no one was supposed to be living. Despite being a remote region, there was a hole in the ground shaped like a coffin. It was almost as though a grave had been dug out of the place, but whose grave? Although we don't have much info, conspiracy theories on what it might possibly be are flying all over the paranormal community. Some believe it's a coffin belonging to a vampire, whereas some claim the dead buried centuries ago had risen. All these sound ridiculous, but we currently have no logical explanations for the scenario. Do you? For our next capture, we travel back in time to 2017. An image was shared back then, and despite the fact that it's been more than 5 years, it remains a mystery, leaving many with questions that have remained unanswered. Have a look. You see it too, don't you? This image is unlike anything we've ever captured on the channel. The image was taken by a Trailcam set up in the woods. The owner of the Trailcam, which captured the image, was reviewing the interesting pictures his camera had captured when he was shocked to find these unnatural captures. The dark creature, or should I say creatures in the dark, had no discernible body with glowing eyes and what looked like arms stretched out. There appear to be two creatures as there are two sets of eyes. Perplexed and freaked out by what he was seeing, the uploader sent the footage around to the paranormal community hoping for answers, but no one had any for him as they were too confused. Some thought it was a Sasquatch, whereas others thought it might be like a ghost or otherworldly creature. Looking at it, we don't have answers either. Do you? Tell us in the comments section. In this unsettling still image, we're confronted with an enigmatic being, if we may call it that. Its face, illuminated by the faint glow of the camera, gazes directly into the lens, as though peering into the very depths of our souls. The time of the capture, 2 a.m., only adds to the mystery, for what mortal soul would venture into the woods at such an unearthly hour? Indeed, this eerie figure evokes unsettling vibes akin to the haunting presence of Pennywise, the infamous clown from the realm of horror fiction. One cannot help but wonder, what could have possibly lurked in the wood on that fateful night? Was it a wandering spirit, a specter from beyond, or perhaps something more elusive and sinister? As we gather around the proverbial campfire of speculation, our imaginations run wild, conjuring myriad possibilities for the origins of this enigmatic figure. Is it an otherworldly entity caught momentarily in the human realm, or could it be a manifestation of something far more sinister, lurking just beyond the veil of our perception? The stillness of the image leaves us yearning for more, a glimpse into the events that preceded this unnerving moment. What do you think that was? Tell us in the comments section. This footage gives me the creeps. Listen closely and you'll hear a woman's voice in the background, capturing what seems to be a typical scene with her son. At first glance, everything appears ordinary, but let's direct our attention to the tree behind the boy, just beyond the motorcycle. Did you see that? Take a look again. Was that a limb? What could that be? Initially, I considered it a snake or a prankster, but upon closer inspection, it becomes apparent that the mysterious figure emerging from behind the tree is covered in hair. Snakes are scaly and humans seldom have hair on their hands. What then could it be? A juvenile Bigfoot, an ape, or a Pombero? We'll leave that up to you to decide. We've seen the ghosts and spirits of humans more often than we can state on this channel, but what about animals? If anyone asked whether animals had ghosts, I would have laughed at the idea. But here's a video challenging that assertion. If you watch the video closely, you see an owl moving through the environment. At this moment, it looks like any other owl, but once the owl lifts off from the ground, we see what looks like a ghostly form of a bird lift off as well and fly in the opposite direction. Unlike the real bird that lands on the stump in front of it, the ghostly shadow disappears. If that's a ghost, what does that mean? Because the bird is still alive. Or could it be a spirit of that particular forest that takes the form of owls because they populate the area? Well, we can't say for sure, but it could also be an otherworldly creature taking the form of the bird. From a logical standpoint, we are stumped. There seems to be no explanation for this baffling footage. One possibility is that the camera could be reacting in peculiar ways under certain conditions. If that's the case, can any one of you explain? We'd like to read it in the comments section. And for our third bonus segment, we have a creature that you wouldn't know so easily. Don't believe us? Have a look. Do you see it? Does its appearance not resemble a diver jumping from a springboard into a pool? As impressive and good-looking as that specimen is, what animal do you think this is? Do you have an idea? Then tell us in the comments section and add one rare fact about the animal. Start your comment with bonus footage so we can easily identify it. The most accurate description with the rarest fact will win a feature in our next video. You will become the second person to ever be featured. That's some prestige if you know what I mean. All the best. Next, we have this footage which comes from a subscriber of this page. He believes his Trailcam captured a skinwalker as it was reverting to its human form. Have a look. In the capture, we see a forest area with what looks like a human, specifically a man covered in mud centered in the image. He appears to be moving from the left to the right. Looking at the scenery, it's highly unlikely that anyone would be roaming the area naked without clothes and covered in mud, unless, of course, they somehow transformed from a wild animal to a human. Logically speaking, that sounds weird, but we have seen strange things on this channel and encountered many paranormal beings that make this look like your regular Sunday capture. We're tempted to believe that the one who sent in the image is onto something and in fact is telling the truth. What we don't, however, know is where the image was captured. But what do you think, though? Could it be a skinwalker transforming back to its human form, or are we dealing with a human who was somehow naked in the woods? Could the whole thing be an elaborate hoax as well? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. The wild is not merciful to the weak, as they are typically prey. In the relentless pursuit of food, animals must be wary of becoming a meal themselves. In this Trailcam footage, we see an opossum venturing into a hole in a massive rock, but it's not seeking shelter for the night. Unbeknownst to the possum, a crafty coyote lurks just above the rocks, eyeing its every move. As the coyote descends to claim its meal, the opossum skillfully disappears into the shadows within the rock. The predator's desperate gaze sweeps across every corner, but the elusive opossum remains elusive. I guess the opossum was lucky then, or was it? This image just sends shivers down my spine. The idea of the Wolfman actually existing is a nightmare to many people, yet here's an image that might just prove that they do exist. In the image, we see a dog-furred beast with somewhat human features. The posture of the headshot makes it seem to appear to be standing on two legs. As much as the image seems frighteningly real, deep down, I had a hunch that it might just be a costume, and it turns out I was right. Despite some attempts to present it as a paranormal creature sighting, our investigations revealed that it actually belonged to a popular costume maker, putting an end to the mystery and the excitement surrounding the image. Bummer. Next is another image we're trying so hard to wrap our heads around. You know what? Just take a look for yourselves. Yeah, that was apparently captured on a trail cam set up in the woods. The owner of the trail cam initially thought his friends were pranking him, but after checking with everyone, he realized they knew nothing about it. So then, what is this thing? We can say for certain it seems to have a human body with a head resembling some pig-like creature. Imagining such a creature brings to mind Bebop from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but this is happening in real life. Critically looking at the image once more, a part of me wants to believe that this is nothing more than a man in a mask. I know I sound like the paranormal critic today, but, well, look at it. What other explanation could there be for this? We all know that Russians are built differently, but what about their animals? Turns out they're built differently too. Watch this next one. And yes, that's a bear trying to climb a ladder. You don't need to be a genius to know that a bear is trying to climb that ladder to get to the man filming. From the footage, we can see the bear climbing up toward the man who keeps talking or vocalizing, and eventually the bear climbs back down. He's in the clear then, right? Well, no. The bear decides that if it can't climb up to the man, it would bring the man down to it. It starts pulling on the base of the ladder, most likely with hopes of pulling the man down to him. We see it attempt to pull the ladder several times, but unfortunately the video ends before we can witness the outcome. Given the fact that the video was uploaded online, I'd like to believe that the man made it out. What about you? If you were wowed by the circus trio, this will blow your mind. I don't know what scientists are cooking up in their labs, but this is very suspicious. Someone managed to capture an insect, and you won't believe what they found. It had the number 36 branded on it. Unless you have an explanation for insects getting numbers tattooed on them, this worries me and is quite frankly scary. Is this some kind of lab-generated insect, or a spy insect with the designation Agent 036? Or is it merely a fake? Initially, I was skeptical and thought it might be fake, but then another person shared footage of a smaller insect with similar markings. Could these insects be artificially created due to a scarcity of insects capable of performing specific functions, or are the scientists involved in something else entirely? Share your thoughts in the comments section. I know we've featured the dog man on this channel before, but I'm not sure we've done so with a video as spine-chilling as this. Two guys were staying in an isolated cabin in the woods when they started hearing strange and ungodly sounds. Curious and worried, they stepped out and their security cam captured what you see on your screen. If you pay attention to the footage, you'll see a large creature appear on the left side of the screen. It looks like it's got big forearms and a bigger body to match. The video quality is so bad you can't really tell what you're looking at. Some members of the online paranormal community, however, think it's a wounded grizzly, whilst others think it's a werewolf. But a majority believe that we could be definitely looking at a dog man. I want to believe it's one of these, preferably the dog man, but as I keep watching the video over and over, the excitement wanes and it's replaced by a lot of questions. Why did the video end so abruptly if it's real? Why do the creature's movements look a little unnatural? Is this an elaborate hoax to deceive dogman enthusiasts? So many questions. But what do you think? Still on strange and unidentifiable creatures, this next Trailcam capture will surely shock you. We travel back in time to the year 2008 in Montauk, Long Island, New York. Have a look. There's no way that creature is normal. It appears to have a beak like a bird does and a furless body with the features of that of a dog, and its size also matching that of a dog's. The uploaders stated they found this at the beach, and everyone who saw this in 2008 believed it was real. Looking at it in 2023, well, not so much. Even the flawed yet impressive AI tools of this year can generate more photorealistic images than this. I'm starting to believe the uploaders did this for clout, and boy, did they get some. Their post went everywhere, including newspapers. Did you hear about it then? What did you think about it when you heard it? Tell us in the comments section. We've had cryptids that look like apes, and then some that look like goats, and even dogs. But have you heard of any that look like rabbits? Whatever your answer was, you might want to see this. Yup, that's an actual humanoid with a rabbit head. Yes, an actual humanoid-looking rabbit. We haven't encountered anything like this in all the years of exploring the paranormal. Some members of the team say it looks more like a wolf or fox, and as much as I can see where they're coming from, I stubbornly stick to the rabbit looks. Despite our different stances on what this might be, we all wanted this to be legit. But the more we looked at the picture, the more disappointed we became. In the end, we had to come to terms with the reality. It's a photo of a man in a costume and nothing more. We've no idea if the individual was trying to trick the owner of the Trailcam into believing it was paranormal or if it was accidentally captured by the Trailcam. But assuming this was your trail camera and assuming this was real, how would you have reacted? Tell us in the comments section. Do giant spiders exist? If you answered no, how do you explain this? Yes, what you're seeing on your screen is an actual blanket of spider webs. A group of individuals walked into the forest and found various trees covered in spider webs, something that we might have relegated to fiction in the past. If I were there, I'd freak out thinking some ancient giant spider was lurking. I'd probably run for my life. Interestingly, the people who stumbled upon this place had the exact same thought. I mean, if there was a spider capable of putting such giant trees in a web, then it certainly had to be big. But fortunately for them, they never encountered anything deadly or dangerous. Scientists carefully examined the footage and conducted on-site investigations. After testing the web, they came up with a new hypothesis. They stated that instead of one giant spider, the web could have come from thousands of smaller spiders who may have multiplied due to an abundance of food during the summer. What do you think, though? Next up, we have this Trailcam capture from the year 2013, captured in North Carolina, which is quite disturbing and a little bit sad. In the image on your screen, you can see what looks like a little girl running through the woods. But why is this image so sad and disturbing? If you take a closer look at the image, you'll realize that her arms do not look normal, almost as if they're deformed in some way, and despite her having her head and face, she does look faceless. There are many that believe that we may be dealing with a ghost or spirit of some sort. If this is true, does that mean that this little girl was killed in the woods? Possibly got lost or kidnapped and killed there. Well, we can't say for sure, but anytime I see ghost images of kids in the woods, I can't help but get sad. Who knows what horrors they might have had to endure. This might be the reason why they are trapped in the woods and not able to find peace. It makes me wish that they're not true. Speaking of being false, there are some who argue that perhaps the quality of the image could account for the discrepancies. While that sounds plausible, there are too many things wrong to think the quality of the image is the problem. But as always, what do you think? Tell us in the comments section. As the saying goes, not all heroes wear capes, and this footage is nothing but a true example of that. Have a look. This man was driving by the Thomas fire when he immediately stopped and ran towards the flames. Onlookers took out their cameras to film, wondering what he was doing, when suddenly he grabbed something from the ground. It was a rabbit. The man actually stopped to save the rabbit from the fire. Such a brave superhero. As impressive as the feat is, experts actually advise us not to save wild animals during fires. They state that if the animal wants to go back into the fire, chances are it has babies to recover or its burrow is safe despite how dangerous the fire looks. As conflicting as that might sound, they are the experts after all. If the animal doesn't make it, it's the circle of life after all. But that doesn't take away from the bravery of this man. What say you? Next, we have this footage captured on a trail cam that reveals a photo caught of a creature about to land in the forest. Beautiful, isn't it? The creature in the photo is bird-like and colorful and appears to have been captured mid-air with its flapping wings frozen in a rapid motion. The uploader of the image describes it as the coolest picture he's ever taken. The majestic creature is surrounded by lush, healthy trees that reach skyward adorned with an abundance of vibrant green leaves. In the footage, we can see the bird with its long legs, white feathers, and a short beak landing where there seems to be a fox. Could that bird-like creature be one of divine origins, or are we simply dealing with the bird's motion creating an illusion of long legs and its feathers appearing colorful due to the play of sunlight? What are your thoughts? This footage was taken by someone who appears to be taking a walk in what looks like a jungle. As you can see, there's a lot of greenery around as the footage continues. Our adventurer explores further and comes across a bridge. But halfway through the bridge, this person catches something on camera. Did you see that? Right among the rocks, a little further away from the shallow river, you won't believe your eyes. There's a creature standing on two legs. At first glance, its posture seems human. But upon closer inspection, it becomes clear that this entity is anything but human. The entity was very skinny and green, making it appear camouflaged within its green surroundings. In contrast, its head is unusually large, adorned with two mysterious black dots that I can only assume are its eyes. If you subscribe to the paranormal, then you should know that it fits the description of what the community loves to call aliens. Could this creature be a scout for an incoming planned invasion? Share your thoughts with us. How would you respond when Google Street View shows you pictures of a suspicious-looking man in a mask kneeling instead of the remote serene woods you're hoping to see? Well, for the owner of the image, this is no hypothetical question. Google uses different methods and technology to make sure you get the best of its application, like Maps, Earth, and even the Street View. How then does something like this end up on Google Street View? Could there have been an error, or did the application actually capture a wicked and suspicious-looking man out there? Assuming the man is real, could it be cosplay, or is there a dangerous and possibly wicked, heartless man out there in the woods taking lives? While we may not know the exact location to verify this, what do you personally think? Is this real, or is it simply a hoax? In this footage, a brave man stumbles upon a set of enormous tracks leading from the depths of the forest to his very doorstep. He couldn't believe his eyes at the size of these tracks, exceeding that of any human footprints he'd ever seen. Clearly, it was evident that no ordinary human could be responsible for these massive impressions. As the man followed the tracks, he noticed the significant gaps between each print, indicating a creature of considerable size was wandering through the area. This left him baffled as he ruled out typical animals like apes or gorillas, which wouldn't have left such enormous tracks. So, what could be responsible for these puzzling footprints? The man couldn't help but consider the possibility of the legendary Bigfoot. Could this elusive and enigmatic creature be roaming the wilderness, leaving behind traces of its presence? As we always do, we approach such encounters with a blend of curiosity and skepticism. While the idea of a mythical creature like Bigfoot captivates our imagination, we also keep in mind that there might be other explanations for these unusual tracks. Is it possible that a large and unknown animal species resides deep within the forest, still waiting to be discovered by science? Or could there be a more rational explanation for these prints that we have yet to consider? Tell us what you think. Apart from capturing enigmatic creatures and animals in the wild, trail cameras sometimes capture strange humans who leave the comfort of civilization and venture into the woods to do questionable things. Take a look at this trail cam image, for instance. It was taken deep in a patch of pines at 7 p.m. Observe this intriguing image closely. It appears to show a person, possibly a mother, carrying a baby with what seems like a pacifier in its mouth. What could they be doing in the woods at this time, and why have a baby with you? Unless for some reason they were lost in the woods, which is understandable, but if not, then why? What exactly could be going on in this footage? Unless, of course, they're not human after all and there's something weird going on. This is one of the weirdest trail cam footages that I've come across, and I just can't understand the situation here. What do you think could be happening? Next, let's dive into the fascinating world of these hard-working insects. Take a look at this dynamic duo of ants, determinedly hauling a tiny SIM card through the maze of cracks in a wall. But what could possibly drive these tiny messengers to undertake such a peculiar mission? Could they be harboring a secret telecommunication network within their covert hideout, relying on a SIM card for connectivity? It's a captivating idea that these ants might be the unseen masterminds of a miniature technological empire. Imagine a bustling ant metropolis where information seamlessly flows through their own version of cyberspace, all facilitated by the humble SIM card clutched in their tiny mandibles. You know, that's actually a scary thought. But why do you think these ants are stealing these SIM cards?
It's a plane flying low over people's homes, scanning the ground with that green laser.
In recent times, a series of peculiar events have left communities puzzled and with more questions than answered. One such mysterious incident unfolded in Cape Coral, Florida, where residents were both bewildered and alarmed by a strange craft hovering across their skies. The most disturbing part of this is the vibrant green laser beam that emanates from the craft, sweeping across the earth below like a scanner. This went on for days until the locals had enough and contacted authorities for answers, but their replies were unclear and they provided little information about the strange flying object's origin or purpose. This has led to various guesses and ideas about what it could be. Some suggest that the flying object could be on a mission to map the landscape, trying to study and learn about the terrain below. On the other hand, different theories propose a mysterious purpose, perhaps one with an origin that lies in the secret service of the government. It's a stretch, but how else do we explain this? Anyway, share your thoughts on what you think this could be.
They told me not only do their planes fly during the day, they also don't use green lasers.
Have you ever wondered if wild animals ever destroyed trail cams? Well, want to know more because we've got live footage for you. Enjoy. The footage starts off with what looks like an innocent woodpecker curiously examining the trail cam. After a few minutes, it becomes apparent that the woodpecker isn't just examining the trail cam, it seems to either be vandalizing it or making a home out of it. It starts pecking at the camera until the camera simply goes off. The owner of the camera actually found it in bad shape and wondered what could have caused the damage. He got his answer when he reviewed the footage, though. However, this discovery left him with more questions than answers. Why would the woodpecker destroy his equipment? Could the camera have been fixed in a tree where it got its favorite nutrition from? Had it marked the tree to build its new nest? Or did it simply find the camera's presence an annoyance? Could our avian experts help us out on this one? We'll be reading the comments section for answers. For our next one, if you have a fear of spiders or arachnophobia, you might want to skip it. Yes, you're seeing right. Those are the legs of a spider and its underbelly or thorax, if I'm not mistaken. Is the spider giant, though? As much as I'd love to say yes, it's not. It's a normal-sized spider moving on top of the trail cam. We've encountered numerous instances of this, which led me to wonder if trail cams have something that attracts spiders, but it turns out they don't. Trail cam setups can, however, become hot zones for insects, and as we know, spiders love their insects, which is likely why we often see them hanging around trail cams. But what do you think? So, this is a clip of a guy just chilling with his friends waiting for their Uber when he sees a goat go by. He then decides to film it to pass the time and thinks nothing of it. When he posted the video, someone pointed out what he missed, a figure lurking by the tree. And we're not talking about the goat. Oh, no. The entity was covered in a dark robe with a weird skeletal-looking face. Everyone who saw the footage was wondering what we were dealing with. Some thought it was just a man in a mask, whilst others thought it was the Grim Reaper. Those who thought it was the Grim Reaper pointed out that the uploader, one of his friends, or all of them may be near death. Creepy, huh? The mystery deepens with our next clip. Take a look at this recent TikTok video showing a strange scene captured by a daughter's boyfriend during his morning commute.
Oops. That's freaking weird, man.
Isn't it?
Yeah, like there's someone else taking a picture.
The video reveals a bird hanging in the sky, seemingly frozen in time. What makes it even more peculiar is not just the bird's lack of movement, but also its odd sideways position. While some might think that birds sometimes spread their wings to take a break mid-flight, this is definitely not how they rest mid-flight. The unusual stillness of the bird raises a lot of questions. How could a bird stay suspended in such a peculiar way, going against gravity and the usual dynamics of bird flight? There's no logical answer to this, which brings us to another question. Could it be a glitch in the Matrix? I mean, what else explains a bird getting stuck mid-flight like it's paused in a video game or a movie? Think about it.
I'm ready to drive.
Yeah. What if it just dropped all of a sudden? Wouldn't that be freaky?
Okay, well, let's go before it just drops on us. So weird.
Next, we have this beautiful capture that brought tears to my eyes. And yes, that's an exaggeration. But the beauty of the picture isn't. Have a look. That's a beautiful doe moving through the water. Whoever placed this trail cam where it's positioned definitely knew what they were doing. It's not every day you see a beautiful capture. For those who didn't know, deers are impressive swimmers. They got great legs. Wait, did I say great? I meant strong legs with a natural buoyancy that allows them to float. Yeah, despite their skill, their body allows them to stay afloat. If they had webbed feet, we'd definitely call them water animals. Either way, that's a great capture. I have a question though. Do you think the water is splashing in the right direction, or am I simply trying to see things that aren't there? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Now for our next capture, you might want to brace yourself because it doesn't look pretty. Before you ask the question, allow me to answer. Yes, that's a deer, and yes, those are growths or warts around its neck. As disturbing as the image is, that's not uncommon for deer in the wild. These growths are known as fibroma or skin tags, and they result from various factors including genetics, insect bites, parasites, and poor nutrition, among others. Despite their appearance, these growths don't pose a significant threat to the deer, although larger ones might cause discomfort for the animal. That doesn't mean to run and apply ointments if you see a deer with one. What you should do is alert local authorities. Local authorities are best equipped to provide assistance. Until then, all we can do is hope and pray that the deer receives the necessary help. Hold on to your hiking boots because there's a mountain mystery unfolding at the Lone Peak Mountains. A resident sees a figure casually walking up the mountain, moving with eerie ease. Now here's the twist. It looks almost human, but with the size and build that's definitely not human. A quick zoom and it's clear this isn't your typical mountain hiker. Given the area is notorious for Bigfoot sightings, the individual concluded that we may just be dealing with the elusive cryptid. He couldn't follow or get any closer, so we'll have to make do with this clip. What do you think, though? Could it really be a Bigfoot, or is he just seeing what he wants to see? A group of kids, curious and courageous, rush into a farmland drawn by mysterious noises echoing from within. Just as they approach, the source of the commotion takes off at warp speed straight into the clouds. And what do they discover? A flattened maize field and a UFO zipping across the sky. UFO sights have become so common these days, it feels like any moment from now we'll see aliens knocking at our front doors to ask for a glass of water. As much as I love alien clips and want to believe this is real and authentic, it just feels very unreal. It looks like one of those amateur student films, which makes me believe someone created this looking for their 5 minutes of fame. Given we featured this clip on the channel, it's safe to say they've achieved their aim. Next, our focus lies on an intriguing Trailcam capture dating back a few years, which has left us perplexed and curious. Have a look. As we gaze upon the daytime image, we're confronted with a blurred figure, a spectral presence that defies easy identification. The Trailcam, situated on a remote farm, has captured an enigma that has left the most astute minds puzzled. Some have ventured to speculate that this blurry apparition could be a scarecrow, dressed in a brown leather jacket and an old farmer's hat, dutifully standing guard over the fields. However, this theory is quickly quashed as scarecrows are known to be stationary, and there are no such figures in the vicinity of the Trailcam. Others have suggested that the figure could be the farmer himself, diligently tending to his crops. Yet, this notion is swiftly dismissed by the farmer, who attests that he didn't venture to that part of the farm on the day the image was captured. A riddle within a riddle, it seems. The realm of the unknown, however, does not easily succumb to conventional explanations. As whispers of Bigfoot sightings and strange occurrences resonate in the area, the possibility of a cryptid presence cannot be ignored. The farmer's accounts of missing fruits and small animals add weight to the theory, enticing our imagination towards the mysterious realm of Bigfoot. On a lighter note, whimsical speculation also suggests the presence of Swiper the Fox from the beloved animated series Dora the Explorer, perhaps on a playful quest for a hidden treasure chest. While this notion may elicit a smile, the true identity of the blurred figure remains shrouded in uncertainty. I'd like to know what your thoughts are, though. What do you think we could be dealing with here? Tell us in the comments section. The discovery of human-like tracks in Missouri by a hiker is truly fascinating and may lead to speculation about their origin. The combination of human-like features and a size larger than what is typical for a human suggests the possibility of an enormous creature leaving these tracks. Given the description of the prints and their depth, it's reasonable to consider the likelihood of a large and powerful being responsible for them. One creature that fits such a description is Bigfoot, also known as Sasquatch. Given the various reports of Bigfoot sightings and tracks surfacing from various parts of North America, including Missouri, I can't help but wonder if these creatures are up to something. Could they be plotting? Do we have to be worried? These are questions I can't seem to get out of my head. But what do you think of these discoveries? Nature has a way of surprising us, turning the everyday into something extraordinary. Someone found this insect on a wall. From afar, it might look like your everyday large, winged and flying insect, but a closer look at it and you'll realize something's off about this insect. It looks like it's got a man's face. If you're familiar with the Conjuring universe, you know that this looks like Valak, but it's just a moth, so how? Is this a case of pareidolia because I was watching the Conjuring universe recently, or is there some merit to my claim? Guys, what do you think? This guy is out taking a casual stroll through the woods, nothing out of the ordinary, but then he gets this distinct feeling like something's off, that creepy sense of being watched and not being alone.
Get back.
On instinct, he turns around to see what's going on. That's when he spots it, this bizarre black sphere just hovering in the air, traveling right behind him like some kind of sinister follower. It's giving me evil red balloon from It vibes, you know. Part intrigued but mostly freaked out, the guy quickly whips out his phone to record this weird phenomena. The sphere seems to have a mind of its own, drifting in this really unsettling, unnatural way. The whole atmosphere is tense and ominous. Without warning, the black sphere suddenly charges straight at the man, moving through the air at an inhuman speed, accompanied by this bizarre roaring sound. You can hear the guy's terrified yell just before the footage abruptly cuts out, leaving you to wonder what the hell just happened. What do you think this mysterious black sphere could be? More importantly, how would you react if you came face to sphere with something that's sinister and bizarre looking on a casual wood stroll? Julius thinks it might be CGI generated because the leaves don't move when it touches them, but, well, what do you think? Yeah, that's a naked man walking through a field in broad daylight. I mean, the person has a face of a man with facial hair and all, but his hair is long and he appears to be wearing a woman's crop top with what looks like a hostler around his waist and a pair of shoes. He also seems to have a walkie-talkie on. Apart from that, you can see his butt cheeks hanging out in the sun. Who is this and why is he half naked? While our first instinct might be to think of a prankster or someone engaging in unusual behavior, we must keep an open mind and consider other possibilities. Could this be an individual who's lost or disorientated, or perhaps they're part of a performance or unconventional artistic expression? There's a myriad of potential explanations that we can explore, but share your thoughts, we'd love to know. Our next capture is an eerie Trailcam image that indeed raises numerous questions and sends shivers down our spines. Take a look. At first glance, the image looks like a person taking a walk in the middle of the night. After a second look, it becomes evident that the figure is wearing a uniform, leading me to speculate that this individual could be on a hunt. Upon closer inspection, however, and you would realize that the figure doesn't seem to have a face. Moreover, it has a ghostly appearance, and that's when it clicks. There's no way a human would have been taking a stroll in the woods that late at night. This definitely has to be paranormal, but what kind? Is this a ghost? A shapeshifter on its way to avenge someone maybe? Or just a lost soul caught on camera? It's hard to say, but what do you think? A homeowner sets up some security cameras around her house, just for peace of mind, pretty standard stuff. But then she's reviewing the footage and catches something seriously bizarre. There's this thing sprinting across a driveway by her car. It's only about 3 feet tall, but has these freaky skinny legs, and its head is totally out of proportion, like a big bulbous thing on a little body. The midsection was harder to make out, just looked kind of dark and shadowy. She slows down the footage to get a better look, and that's when it gets even weirder. This creature, whatever it is, has a body structure that's almost bird-like. Thin legs, seemingly lightweight frame, but the way it's moving is unmistakably human-like. Confident, purposeful strides. It's like, beats me, I'm some sort of human-bird hybrid. Such things aren't supposed to exist, are there? So what could we be looking at then? A real-life genetic experiment gone haywire? Some bizarre undiscovered species that blends human and bird traits? It's hard to say at this point, but what are your thoughts on this? Next, we get a glimpse of the future right in someone's backyard. This man has crafted a shield that's definitely worthy of the name camouflage. You notice that the shield makes him invisible as soon as he stands behind it. This is the kind of stuff you see in movies and games, but this man has really built it. Yeah, he's actually done it. A shield more practical than Captain America's. Imagine the possibilities, the untapped potential of technology. It could change the law enforcement and military game for good, but if the man could create this, what could those big shot tech companies be cooking up behind their closed doors? Next, we have another bizarre capture from Lancaster County. Unlike the previous one, however, this is a video and it showcases something that looks more like a mutation than it does a cryptid. Yes, what you are seeing is very real. And yes, that's an actual deer with 2 noses. A park ranger discovered this unusual footage on a trail cam set up to capture local wildlife. The trail cam had been successful capturing intriguing videos, and he was anticipating more. What he didn't expect, though, was the confusion upon first sight of this footage. It was mostly because he didn't know what he was looking at. The deer's face appears oddly shaped, with 2 additional openings. It took him a while, but he soon realized that these weren't openings, they looked like additional noses. The sight was truly bizarre and marked the first time such an occurrence had been captured on video. The ranger was highly convinced he was dealing with a mutated deer, but some experts who reviewed the case believe it could have resulted from injury. What do you think? Speaking of mysterious captures, take a look at this next one. At first glance, this looks like an ordinary image captured of the woods at night. A second look, however, and you'd notice something weird going on the left side of the screen. Do you see it? It appears to be some form of translucent creature moving within the trees. The poor quality of the image makes it hard to zoom in and discern what it is because the more you zoom in, the blurrier the image gets. We're not particularly fond of blurry images because they often invite skepticism unless the circumstances surrounding them make a strong case for their blurriness. So we throw this one at you. What do you think you were seeing? Is this whole image even real or simply a hoax meant to throw us off? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Under the tranquil veil of night, another TikToker stumbled upon a sight that was both enchanting and enigmatic.
Oh my dude, I wish I had a better camera.
A beam of orange light pierced through the darkness, delicately kissing the earth below. But this was no celestial event or distant star. It was the captivating display of artillery illumination rounds. At least, that's what Julius would have us believe.
On the parts that aren't, dark.
Dude, that shit is fucking tripping me out.
These rounds, commonly employed in military operations, serve as a dual purpose, illuminating the night sky to enhance visibility and exposing the surrounding terrain. The orange glow, set against the inky backdrop of the night, created a surreal atmosphere, transforming the ordinary into something otherworldly and mesmerizing. I know this explanation doesn't convince you, but that's what skeptics like Julius are pushing. The believers in the paranormal like Aaron, however, believe we could be looking at a portal to another dimension or a rift of some sort. Instead of stating my stance on the subject, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think?
The phone doesn't even do it justice of what we're seeing.
Oh, there's another one.
Yeah, they're falling out of the sky. Look, that one's just sitting there.
Let's turn our attention to the charming cityscape of Vicenza, Italy, where an extraordinary architectural wonder takes center stage. In this mesmerizing scene, an onlooker gazes out of a window only for us to see a large body of water. It's almost as though the whole area has been submerged in a pool. Not much context was given, so we can't tell if we're dealing with a structure that has always been like this or one that's dealing with heavy floods or rains. Whatever the case, you have to agree that that's some serious bit of architectural engineering. I don't know if there are many homes in the US that could survive something like this. Simply remarkable. Would a bear attack a trail camera? Before you answer, watch this. While I know it looks like the bear was attacking the trail camera, what if I told you that it wasn't? If you pay attention to the video, you'd realize that the bear was going through some container until it abruptly stopped and then bolted out of the place. Putting on our Sherlock Holmes hats, we can deduce that the bear was probably going through those containers in search for food. Perhaps the containers were storing food items and the bear was simply drawn there by its scent. It might have heard people in the process and then tried to leave. Yes, keep applauding. I know I have decoded the scene, but what do you do when you live in a bear country and need to store food items outside? Well, you use a bear box. If you're wondering what that is, it's a metal container designed to store food and scented items in bear countries with the means of preventing the bears from accessing its contents and reducing the risk of human-bear conflicts. You can imagine what could have happened if the bear decided to go after the humans that disturbed it. It could have been tragic. If you're watching this video and live in a bear country and do not own one, you better pause the video, order yourself one, and then come back to it. I'm watching you. If you own one, just write "own one" in the comments section. If you ordered, just write "ordered one" in the comments section. I will be watching. Watch this footage. Did you catch the deer running past the trail cam? Did you notice anything else? Take another look at the footage. You saw it, didn't you? There was a floating orb just above the deer. It moved with the same speed as the doe and in the same direction, almost as though it was chasing it. While some might dismiss the orb as a camera artifact, our longtime subscribers know that orbs often indicate supernatural activity. The sender of this clip believes it's a ghost. I do see the moving object, but I'm not inclined to make the ghostly association with this particular clip. What about you? Next, we have a clip from this woman who is just kicking it in her apartment one night, probably getting ready for bed or whatever, when she happens to glance out of her window up at the mountains.
No estoy buscando seguidores. Como pueden ver en todas mis fotos y videos.
That's when she sees this totally trippy display. These glowing blue lines, almost like tentacles, slithering and undulating across the sky. She whips out her phone to record the whole mind-bending scene through the glass. It's both eerily beautiful and downright bizarre. You still have to wonder, though, what could be responsible for causing something like that? Are we talking about legit paranormal activity here? Maybe some ethereal spirits just glazing across the night sky, leaving these glowing trails in their wake? Or is there more to it? Gives me chills just thinking about it. Julius and his skeptic kind, however, think it might be some weird trick of the light, like reflections bouncing off her window from inside her place. Very boring explanation, but possible, I suppose. Does it feel unexplainable? Well, maybe. Is it insanely cool? 100%. Anyway, you guys have seen it now. What do you also think about it? Just a quick reminder before the next clip comes, if you still haven't liked, commented, or subscribed, could you do so right now? You wouldn't want me to send a Bigfoot after you now, would you? In this mystifying video, a diligent worker is carefully placing boxes on a shelf when, without warning, the boxes decide to defy gravity and tumble off the shelves on their own. This is bizarre and, quite frankly, a bit upsetting. Yet this is just the beginning of a series of strange events. As the worker tries to make sense of the situation, something else happens. An unseen force pushes down some more boxes and takes control of his body and then drags him around as though he were a piece of paper. He told his managers, who didn't believe him until the CCTV footage was reviewed and this was seen. What do you think could be happening here? Are we dealing with a supernatural presence, a glitch in the fabric of reality, or perhaps a manifestation of undiscovered energies within the walls of the warehouse? Share your thoughts. Many will come with their speculations concerning every trail cam video uploaded, but let's dissect what's really going on here. In this footage, we see a hairless creature that's apparently sniffing around and searching for food. All who initially saw this footage believed that we're dealing with a chupacabra, and given its appearance, we don't blame them. But is it really one? Some don't think so. They think it's only a mangy coyote, and while we can see where they're coming from, we'd still want to hear your thoughts. What do you see? Let your speculations flood the comment section. Next, we have Trailcam footage for what we still have no understanding. Have a look. According to the uploader of the footage, the trail camera was set up in the woods of a small public park people visit with a little yellow tape around it. Someone walked in and changed it, but here's the kicker. The person was not caught on camera. What do you think we're dealing with here? A skillful vandal or a paranormal being? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section, as we'd love to hear them. On a bright, sunlit day, an unsuspecting woman found herself being confronted by an eerie and mysterious sight. There on the wall of that building is the unmistakable silhouette of a person's shadow. Do you see it? That's definitely not your ordinary shadow. No, this one stands out, and there's no one around to cast it. We double-checked to see if it was painted, and no, it's not a painted mural or a trick of the light either. It's a genuine shadow that seems to have a life of its own. How is this plausible? Well, it's not. We believe there's got to be something supernatural going on here. Aaron thinks we may be dealing with a shadow person. For those unfamiliar with the term, a shadow person is a term used in folklore to refer to a dark, shadowy figure that looks like a person, just like we're seeing in the footage. There's, however, not been evidence of their existence until this clip. What do you think? Genuine or fabricated? In the expansive sky where the horizon meets the unknown, TikToker at Daniel Velez Wagner, a skilled glider pilot, recently experienced an extraordinary moment. While flying solo through the clouds, he captured a breathtaking scene that has amazed viewers. And if you guessed UFO, you are right. Wait, I put that in the title of the clip, so you have already seen it. Anyway, do you believe that's a UFO zooming past his glider at incredible speed? Everyone who's seen the clip thinks so, but some are not so convinced. They think the object just doesn't blend too well with the environment, meaning it has to be edited footage. Take a second look and tell me what you think, edited or the real deal. Share your thoughts in the comments section. Next, we have footage retrieved from a security cam. It was taken in the dead of night with no source of light but the camera's IR light. Yet despite that, it captured something truly disturbing. Have a look. Unless there is proof that the Flash is real and he's embraced the darkness now, I don't think that there is a logical explanation for this footage. In the stillness of the night, a dark figure zooms from an unknown location into the camera frame. Whatever it is, its smoke made the one whose trail camera captured it believe he was dealing with a vampire. Some viewers shared the same belief, while others speculated it could be a shadow of an animal, perhaps a bird or a swooping bat behind the camera. As much as we want to believe that, the ghostly appearance and supernatural speed of its movement leave us questioning any logical explanation given. What do you think, though? Do you see it? A peculiar, hairy creature with some oddly smooth areas. Typically, when it comes to weird trail cam footage, you can always tell what you're looking at after staring for a while or taking a closer look. But the thing with this is, we can't tell exactly what we're looking at. It's just hair everywhere and a lack of unidentifiable features that would help us decipher this enigma. We tried running it through our database of paranormal creatures, and it didn't fit with any of the descriptions in it. We tried Google Images, and even Google couldn't tell us what it was or what it looked like. So at this point, we look to you. What do you think this capture is? Have you encountered anything like it? Tell us in the comments section, because we'd really love to know. Next, let's dive into this spine-chilling clip. This dog owner was enjoying some time with his canine pal until the dog started acting like this. It was growling whilst focusing intently on one corner of the room. As the dog trembled with unease, the owner, unable to perceive the supposed threat, grappled with the unsettling reality that their canine companion could have sensed something beyond our physical plane. He thinks the dog may have sensed a ghost, which, when you think about it, isn't too impossible. Animals are known to be quite sensitive to energies and entities beyond human detection, and this situation right here might just have proven that fact, unless you think there's a more logical explanation. Anyway, care to share your thoughts? A Facebook user recently shared a mesmerizing video featuring two intrepid divers exploring the ocean's hidden wonders. It was meant to be an ordinary clip, until it wasn't. In the background, two massive creatures with an uncanny resemblance to extinct dinosaurs glide by. Naturally, all who saw this were confused and didn't know what to make of it. I showed the clip to Julius, and well, he thinks given their long necks and all, they might be plesiosaurs. Now, this isn't my forte, but plesiosaurs were a type of marine reptile that existed approximately 252 to 66 million years ago and are mostly sometimes referred to as the Loch Ness Monster. Although they lived alongside dinosaurs, plesiosaurs were not exactly dinosaurs, and they had a distinct ecological role in marine environments. Along with various other marine reptiles, plesiosaurs became extinct around 66 million years ago. So it's quite a shock to spot a creature that looks so much like one. So could these really be plesiosaurs, or are we actually mistaking the Loch Ness Monster for one? This next trail camera sends us back into the realm of the paranormal. I don't know what to make of whatever is captured in the Trailcam footage. It looks like some form of humanoid cryptid, but which? It's hard to say. Its body looks like a blend of feline and human characteristics. As far as we are concerned, there's no paranormal being that suits the description. Let's take a closer look at the footage. Doing so, you quickly realize that the being looks like a 3D creation compared to the rest of the natural world. This is an obvious flaw associated with CGI creations, especially those from a few years ago. That makes it difficult to take this footage seriously. It's definitely fake, but why do something like this? For 5 minutes of fame to mislead the paranormal community? Come on, that's not very nice. While the previous footage may not have exactly scared you out of your chair, this next one might do the trick. Watch. The footage starts off with a man driving what looks like a quad bike through the woods. It turns out the trail he's on is designated for ATVs, considered safe for off-road vehicles, quad bikes, dirt bikes, and similar vehicles. But what is it, though? Well, the rider found out the hard way it was not. Suddenly, his ride was interrupted by a wire fixed at neck height. Luckily for him, he had his helmet on, and that's what made contact with the wire. Given the speed at which he was riding, it pushed his head back with great force. But what if he was not wearing a helmet? What if it had made contact with his neck? What if he was on an actual bike? Would he have survived? I don't think so. But who would set up a wire on such a track? Why, and who was the target? Was it an attempt at murder, or something meant to create a freak accident? I don't know about you, but if I were him, I would definitely not trust that track again, or any track in that area whatsoever. You're probably wondering why we're showing you someone's bedroom, right? Well, wait a sec, and there it is. Do you hear those loud banging or knocking sounds? This has apparently been going on for a while, and the woman was the only one who noticed.
Oh, baby, wake up! What the fuck? What the fuck, baby? Wake up, wake up, wake up! Come, just open the door.
The man always seemed to be very deep in sleep anytime something like this happened, and the woman found it weird. They installed a camera to know what was really happening, and this is the result. The man still slept through it. What do you think could be happening here, and why does the man always sleep through it? Some think it's demonic, while others think they're just faking it. What do you think?
Wake up! What the fuck?
In the heart of the Amazon rainforest, a captivating and mystifying scene unfolded as someone managed to capture a mesmerizing sight from a distance. Among the thick cluster of trees, a red orb appeared, rising gracefully as if emerging from the heart of the lush vegetation. This glowing spectacle resembled a fiery flame. But what could it be? There are indigenous beliefs and folklore that often speak of nature spirits and guardians dwelling in the depths of the jungle. Could this be one of them? Aaron seems to think so. Julius, being the more practical one, offers a different interpretation. He suggests that what we are seeing could be a flare from someone in a distressing situation, or perhaps the light of a drone at work. You've seen the clip. What do you also think? Everything they say rises and falls with leadership, and looking at our next footage, I must say I believe it. In the footage, we see a pack of wolves seemingly going about their normal, everyday business when the one leading the pack suddenly stops and alerts them to danger, asking them to move. Given the fact that she stared in the direction of the camera, the uploader believes she noticed the unfamiliar artifact in their environment and doubted it was safe. See how she gets the rest of the pack to scatter and leave, with the exception of that last one who comes back to see if there was really any danger at all. I guess there's always going to be that odd, weird one, even in the animal kingdom. But we've been wondering, how did she detect the camera? Could it be because of the scent, or does the Trailcam act in a way that allows wolves to detect them? Could the experienced ones help us with an explanation? We'll be reading the comments to see, as we really want to know. Yes, you're seeing it right. A humanoid creature with a head that's a mix of a kangaroo or maybe a dog. It also appears to be going after whoever is holding the camera we see in the shot. While we've showcased weird and disturbing footage on this channel before, nothing compares to what we have in store today. Despite the uploader's silence, it's evidence from the capture that this creature gave the cameraman and crew the scare of a lifetime. Now, let's talk about the creature in question. Does it remind you of any cryptids? If you thought of the Dogman, you're on the right track. However, unlike Bigfoot and other cryptids, information about the Dogman is scarce. This makes it difficult to tell if it's truly the Dogman or some unknown kind of cryptid. There's, however, a third possibility, that the whole thing is a fake and the uploader is peddling us nothing but lies. But what do you think, though? Tell us in the comments section, as we'd really love to hear them. In the eerie depths of an abandoned building, a daring explorer stumbled upon a rather unusual scene.
Bueno, quédense tranquilos.
In the backyard of this building were 5 wooden chairs meticulously arranged in a circle, facing each other. While this may look ordinary to some, something strange occurs in the middle of that circle of chairs. Dried leaves, seemingly guided by an unseen force, twirled in a haunting dance, forming a perfect circle. The unnatural choreography of these leaves raises a chilling question. Was the arrangement of these chairs a purposeful attempt to create a vortex, a mysterious portal, or a focal point for paranormal energy? The concept of a vortex, thought by some to be a swirling gateway between dimensions, could explain the eerie movement of the leaves at the center. Such occurrences are often linked to supernatural events and paranormal activity. Do you think there's something paranormal really happening here, or are we simply overthinking and blowing things out of proportion? Share your thoughts. If you haven't already hit the like button, subscribed, or even dropped a comment so far, could you please do so now? It goes a long way to help us make more of these videos for you. Thank you so much. Now back to today's episode.
Oh my god.
A guy captures not one, but two moons in the sky, with one trailing behind the other. We're not talking about atmospheric illusions or misty reflections. These are actual moons sharing the celestial space. But how? The truth is, no one knows for certain. Can you help? Julius wants to sit out of this one and wants to see what you guys can come up with. Share your thoughts in the comments section.
Dito.
A man was tidying up his backyard one afternoon, clearing out a pile of old wood that had been sitting there for ages. As he lifted the last few logs, he stumbled upon something unexpected. Nestled in the dirt was this strange-looking creature. It was unlike anything he'd ever seen before. The creature had a rodent-like body, but what stood out the most was its face. It had no visible eyes, just a nose and a mouth with two prominent lower teeth poking out. I know what some of you were waiting to type. Alien. Courtesy of Julius, I know it's not. This peculiar animal is known as a blind mole rat. These fascinating creatures are perfectly adapted to their subterranean lifestyle. Without the need for eyes in such an environment, they navigate their dark underground tunnels using their highly developed sense of smell and touch. Their lack of eyes, combined with their powerful digging teeth, makes them well suited for life beneath the surface, where they spend most of their time. I'm not sure what this particular one was doing in the man's backyard, but it's a sight to behold. Just look at it. Stepping away from the strange conspiracies, we've got a story from a man who shared eerie footage on TikTok that has left viewers both intrigued and unsettled.
Hey. Hey. What you stand up there so far? Hey.
According to him, a strange woman tends to regularly appear behind his fence, standing completely still in the middle of the night. Her long hair is the only thing visible, as the rest of her body is hidden by the fence. When it's daytime, the woman is nowhere to be found. This is something he'd noticed, and it was beginning to spook him, and I get it. I would be spooked too. When he uploaded this online, many took an interest in his case and asked for updates. He sent more clips, but the one which stood out was this particular one with the hood. Despite his attempt to get her attention by calling out to her and even tapping aggressively on the fence, she remained unresponsive. Naturally, all who commented were shocked and some trying to figure out what was going on. One person even suggested it might be a scarecrow, but I would expect a scarecrow to be put out during the day and not at night. But who knows? It's easy to dismiss such sightings as pranks or hoaxes, but there's always a lingering doubt. What if it's not?
What you stand up there so far? Hey. Every night this one comes on up right, this one don't want to move.
This next one is a capture from a paranormal group I was gifted the opportunity to be a part of. I don't need to tell you what this creature is, do I? It was captured on a trail cam of one of the participants of the group. According to him, he's encountered this being before and has barely escaped with his life. He was out exploring the woods when it got dark. In his bid to get home, he took a shortcut, and that's where his woes began. He felt the creature stalk and follow him. He couldn't tell, but it had dark fur and a menacing growl. He tried running away and eventually stumbled. That's when the creature revealed itself in its full glory. Once he saw its sharp teeth, he knew he was a goner until a party of hunters came his way with its sharp teeth. The only reason he escaped with his life was because there was a party of hunters heading his way. The creature heard them and retreated, yet no one would believe his story. This is why he fixed the trail cams. It took a year and some months, but he finally had his proof and wanted the world to see it. At least that's what he said. Some people believe his story, while some think it's just AI imagery with a lot of lies. You have seen the capture yourself now. What do you make of it? This mysterious clip has had the whole paranormal community talking. I mean, it's not often you see a creature like this moving across a river in the heart of the woods. What creature is it? Well, if you have been on this page long enough, then you definitely know I'm going to call that out to be a Bigfoot. I mean, the bipedal form and the fur are dead giveaways. The question is, where was this taken, and was it alone? In the middle of nowhere, someone captured this footage. In it, a mysterious triangular-shaped craft appears, hovering silently above a mountain. It's not like anything you've ever seen before. Then out of nowhere, a beautiful, bright beam of light shoots down from the craft, illuminating the mountaintop. The light stays there for a while, casting an eerie glow on the rocks and trees below. Just as quickly as it appeared, the craft zips away, disappearing into the sky in a matter of seconds. Was it a UFO? It certainly looked like one. The triangular shape, the mysterious beam, the incredible speed, everything about it screams otherworldly. And what was the purpose of the beam, and where did it go so quickly? Unfortunately, these are questions we can never answer, but what do you think? Is it proof of extraterrestrial life, or is there a more mundane explanation? A condition in which the cerebrospinal fluid accumulates in the brain. This fluid buildup compressed the brain tissue against the skull, leading to the loss of much of his brain matter over time. To treat this condition, a procedure was performed to divert the excess fluid, typically involving a shunt that drains the fluid to another part of the body, such as the heart or abdomen. Remarkably, despite the significant loss of brain matter, his body managed to function effectively. He went on to marry, have children, and work as a civil servant. This case serves as a truly fascinating example of the brain's plasticity and the body's ability to adapt and compensate for extreme medical conditions. Now, what do we have here? Another bizarre and intriguing sight. A man with feet where his hands should be and have been altered, perhaps with Photoshop or something. The way the limbs blend, the awkward positioning, and the overall weird look, this isn't real. It's a clever digital trick. Our digital tools today have become so advanced that they create incredibly realistic images and animations. Artists and filmmakers use these tools to create fantastical creatures and alter appearances in ways that wouldn't be possible in real life. In this case, the man with swapped limbs is probably a creative project meant to surprise. What did you think when you first saw it? A helicopter flying over a glacier captured this unique sight. Looks like dirt or something closer to that coming out of the glacier, doesn't it? Well, it's water. Yes, that's actually water gushing out of the glacier like a powerful fountain. How is that even possible, you ask? Well, glaciers hold a secret world within them. Inside a glacier, rivers often form on the surface and flow through channels called vesicles, which are like natural tunnels within the ice. These rivers journey deep into the glacier, encountering immense pressure along the way. After traveling great distances and building up pressure, they sometimes burst back to the surface in spectacular displays. What we're witnessing in this video is a stunning example of nature's power and beauty. The water fountain here is about 20 feet tall, cascading down approximately 200 feet before reaching the base and terminal moraine below. Watching this massive fountain of water emerge from the ice is not just visibly stunning, it's a testament to the incredible and sometimes surprising processes that occur in our natural world.
this is the third thumb. So it's a flexible thumb that's controlled with 2 motors that's worn on the wrist. On my left foot is doing this movement, so it's pulling up and back, and it's proportional, so I can go fast or slow. And then my right toe is doing this, pulling across.
Scientists are now suggesting that we might need an 11th finger, which they're calling the third thumb. That's right. They think our human bodies aren't perfect as they are, and we need some modifications. This fascinating invention comes from a team of researchers at Cambridge led by Professor Danny Claude and Tamar Markin. The third thumb is a prosthetic device designed to be worn on the side of the hand, providing an extra digit to assist with various tasks like gripping tools, playing musical instruments, or even typing faster. Think about it. How much could our daily lives change with this added dexterity? For example, holding a coffee cup while typing an email or using a smartphone more comfortably. The idea of augmenting our bodies with extra parts is both thrilling and a little intimidating. Would you be up for trying out a third thumb? In this next footage, a man captured a strange creature emerging from the corner of his building. He was woken up in the middle of the night by strange noises, and not thinking that this could be dangerous, he just went out to take a look, and that's when this thing appeared from the side of the building. It was a pale, eerie creature with contorted limbs resembling a twisted version of a human. Its jagged fingers added to the unsettling sight. With such an otherworldly sight, the man hurriedly retreated in fear. What could that be? Was it a supernatural entity, a product of mutation, or something else entirely? Next, we've got this. Yes, I did use the word this because I'm not exactly sure what we're looking at. It looks like a hybrid between a chihuahua, a child, and some sinister being. At first glance, the whole team thought it might be a chihuahua hiding in the bushes, but after several glances, it became evident that this was something much more. Can you guess what the team settled on? Well, it's not hard. Go on, guess. If you thought or said alien, you're right. Most of the team concluded that this had to be an alien. Aaron, our skinwalker specialist, believes this might be a skinwalker. I get where he's coming from. After all, skinwalkers like to turn into canines. I get it, but can we really accept this as a skinwalker? Well, we can't seem to reach an agreement, but perhaps your insight might help. What do you guys think this is? Let us know in the comments. This next one might look like a scene straight out of a sci-fi movie or some AI-generated weather phenomenon, but believe me when I say it's not. You're actually seeing a person in a high-voltage suit putting it to the test. That metal ball at the top is generating volts of electricity that zap through the air, creating a spectacle that resembles a lightning storm. The sheer amount of voltage is astounding, making the scene both thrilling and a little terrifying. But here's the amazing part. Thanks to the incredibly efficient suit, the person inside is perfectly safe. She can walk around and even touch the zaps of electricity without any harm coming to them. It's a fascinating demonstration of both human ingenuity and the raw power of electricity. It's incredible to think about the kind of technology that allows someone to stand in the midst of what looks like a lightning storm and come out unscathed. Which one of you wants to be the first to try that on?
Yes, I've been attacked by a man in the woods while I was hunting. Please send the police to my location immediately. I cannot stay on the phone. I have to cover him. Please send the police immediately. My name is Jeff McDonald.
Okay, what's going on up there, sir? Can you tell me?
I was attacked by a naked man, and right now he's laying in the woods near me. He's mostly okay, but I'm holding my deer rifle on him. I mean, I'm not going to let him attack me again. I need the police up here now.
Okay, and where is this naked man?
The naked man is laying about 20 feet from me.
Is he alive? Is he?
I believe he's asleep right now, yes. But I'm telling him he can't get up. I'm making him lay on the ground. He attacked me earlier, damn near killed me.
Now let's take a look at another bizarre encounter in the woods. This time a man was out hunting when a naked guy suddenly jumped from the woods and attacked him, screaming, "Sasquatch kills the hunter." When the police arrived, they found the assailant, a 22-year-old man who claimed that Sasquatch was his spirit animal and had commanded him to attack the hunter. Could this be a sign of mental illness? It's hard to say now since the event took place in 2013. People can be scarier and more unpredictable than the animals and mythical creatures we fear. The sheer oddity of a naked man claiming to be driven by a Sasquatch spirit or attack a hunter is something straight out of a wild story. What do you think could have been going on?
Okay, and you got him held at gunpoint?
Yes, I do. This is a real emergency. I need real police in the quick.
I understand that, okay.
Because I only have one option here, and you know what it is.
UFO sightings continue to fuel ongoing discussions and capture public interest. Reports of unidentified flying objects frequently make headlines, and the topic seems to be gaining momentum. This recent sighting comes from Germany, where an observer reported seeing a distinct triangular-shaped object in the sky. Given the prevalence of drones in modern airspace, it's important to consider the possibility that this sighting may be attributed to terrestrial technology. However, the question remains, could this mysterious aerial object be evidence of extraterrestrial visitation? While mourners were gathered at a funeral ceremony of a deceased woman, something strange happened. One of the wreaths that was placed on a metal stand began to move. The whole metal stand in the wreath swayed back and forth, and this began to stir a commotion among the mourners. They start to cry hysterically because they assume the dead lady is trying to talk to them. We've heard some of these things happen in cultures around the world. This, however, is one of the first times it's been recorded. What do you think? Real, staged, or something else entirely with a more logical explanation? Please share your thoughts on this one. Going to the dentist is a nerve-wracking experience for many people, especially when you know there's a good chance you'll need a tooth pulled. No matter how friendly your dentist is, it's hard to stay calm when you're in that chair. But here's something that might surprise you. There's a new invention where, instead of a human dentist, a robot examines your teeth. That's right, a robot. This device is controlled by a doctor on the other side of the screen. The idea is that this robot can perform precise and efficient dental work, potentially reducing human error and making the process smoother. But the big question is, would you trust it? Some people might find the idea comforting, thinking a robot could be more accurate and less prone to mistakes. Others might feel even more anxious, preferring the human touch and the reassurance that comes with it. Honestly speaking, I, for one, would be freaked out. What about you? Would you feel more at ease knowing a machine is handling your dental care, or would the thought of a robot poking around in your mouth make you even more anxious?
Yo, what's it? Yo! You see that? Is that it? Hello? Yo, you see that, dude? Look! Yo, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Go, go.
A group of teenagers planned a weekend getaway in the backcountry bordering remote forest land in Nassau, New York. They parked their van a few meters away and were relaxing in an open area when, out of nowhere, they noticed something moving through the woods near the van. Panic set in immediately and they began to run. The person filming was understandably shaky, but let's take a closer look at the footage, slowed down. There it is, a dark, furry creature. It was walking on two legs almost stealthily until the teens noticed it. That's when the creature dropped to all fours and started chasing after them. You know those moments that feel like they're straight out of a horror movie? This is one of them. The footage is so creepy watching this creature move. It's disturbingly human but also wild, and the way the teen is panicking as the creature chases them down, it's intense and seriously chilling. What do you think? Was it a legendary Bigfoot sighting or an encounter with the mysterious Dogman? Some fancy it being a bear, but I don't know. I like the thought of it being Bigfoot better. Either way, it's a weekend these teens will never forget.
Yo, what's it? Yo! You see that? Is that it? Hello? Yo, you see that, dude? Look! Yo, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Go.
In Trinity County and all of East Texas, Sheriff Woody Wallace from Trinity County here. Look at here, we got some dumpers. And everybody knows we don't tolerate dumping in East Texas, especially in Trinity County. So, I don't know who dumped this, but we're going to do everything we can to find out. What the perpetrators don't realize is on both ends of this road, I have cameras up. I can see the cars when they come in, I can check the cars when they come out. They had a bunch of garbage when they come in, and it's not still in the back of their truck when they leave, we've got a problem. So, this right here.
Now in this footage, a sheriff was having an interview with a park in Texas, Trinity County. As the sheriff passionately addresses the issue of dumped trash, urging viewers to respect the sanctity of the park, something emerges behind him from among the trees. The sheriff doesn't see it, but viewers do, a creature standing upright and covered in fur. But before anyone can get a good look, the creature disappears into the trees, leaving everyone amazed and unsure of what they just saw. But one thing is for sure, this creature was no bear or gorilla. Many who saw the clip believe we got a Bigfoot on our hands. What do you think? Thought it would be appropriate to go out with a big bang. Oh, look at that. A massive bull with huge thick horns on its head. In many cultures, bulls are revered for their vitality and celebrated in traditional sports like bullfighting and rodeo. But despite their grace, their power can be daunting. Imagine the damage it would cause if it sweeps you off the ground. For all their majesty and magnificence, bulls are creatures to be approached with caution. Their strength is unmatched, and their potential for harm is real. In their presence, one can't help but feel humbled by the raw power of the natural world. And it's time for today's bonus clip. Do you know what creature this guy is? If you do, please let us know in the comments section. Remember, the best answers get a feature and a shout out in our next clip. That could be you. All the best. The Appalachian Mountains are one of the most mysterious and eerie places in the world. Those who have ventured there often return with chilling tales of their encounters. One man's experience stands out as particularly unsettling. While exploring the dense forest, a pair of twins stumbled upon a pipe installed into the ground. Curiosity piqued, and they decided to investigate. They attached a GoPro camera and a torch to a string and lowered them into the pipe. The pipe seemed endless, and it took a while for the camera to reach the other side. As it descended, you can hear the faint sound of water trickling. Just before the camera hit the ground, it caught a glimpse of something moving in the corner of the lens. Then, an eerie, heavy breathing sound filled the audio. Though the camera didn't capture a clear image of whatever was down there, the sound of the breathing was unmistakable. It's clear there's something alive down in that pipe. The big question was, what? No one could tell or give a logical explanation, but then again, the Appalachian Mountains are rich with stories of cryptids and unknown entities, ranging from the legendary Mothman to tales of underground creatures. The dense forests, deep caves, and remote areas make it a perfect setting for such mysteries. What do you think of the clip, though? Is it legit? Could there really be something out of the ordinary down there? Share your thoughts in the comments section. While on a hike on a mountain, someone captured this. It was just a regular day when someone saw this weird triangular aircraft hovering over a mountain. It was just floating there, spinning around in broad daylight, when all of a sudden a bright beam of light shot out from it and hit the top of the mountain. It's almost as though it were either dropping or picking up something. There are all these crazy conspiracy theories about UFOs and aliens setting up secret bases in far-off secluded places around the world. The way some weird stuff has been coming out lately, you have to wonder if some of these wacky conspiracy stories might actually be onto something. The big question, however, is, did the person actually stumble across an alien hideout up in the mountains in the middle of the day, or was it all just an elaborate hoax meant to get people worked up about little green men? It's hard to know what's really going on. The lines get really blurred between what's legitimate and what's made up nonsense designed to trick us. With so many bizarre unanswered questions out there, who knows what other strange things could be happening right out in the open without us realizing it? Camping alone in the middle of a forest can be a peaceful escape into nature, but it can quickly become unsettling when the quiet is interrupted by something strange. One camper's story highlights this perfectly.
Not sure if you guys ever seen the Blair Witch Project, but damn, this is just giving me Blair Witch Project vibes.
A man went camping alone in the forest. As he was about to retire to bed, he started to hear something and felt this eerie feeling like he was not alone. So he decided to look around to make sure there was no one around. As he was checking, he heard a voice from the darkness. Take a look. Did you hear that? The voice said, "I see you." Despite being afraid, he still moved toward the voice but found no one.
Ooh. Okay. That was creepy. I need to get out of here.
After a few minutes, he then began to feel like he was being followed. So out of fear, he decided to go back to his campsite, but he had lost his way. Thankfully, however, he did make it back safely. If you ask me, I'd say that's quite a scary experience. The scary thing is he never found whatever was responsible for the noise, even when the day came, which has left him and his community wondering. Was it a creepy person out there trying to give him a scare, or did he encounter an entity out there? I guess that's an answer we may never know for certainty.
This. Oh, hi. What the hell?
A group of friends were out on the ocean in a speedboat enjoying the sun and the waves when they noticed something unusual moving on the water's surface. At first, it was so fast that they thought it might be a bird. But what would a bird be doing skimming so low over the water like that? As they got closer, they realized this was no bird. It was a strange-looking creature gliding above the waves. The friends watched in amazement as the creature seemed to fly over the water, moving with incredible speed and grace. In fact, it was a fish. Yes, a flying fish, and yes, a fish that flies. They exist even if they could only glide for a few meters before going back in the water. Flying fish have adapted to escape predators by propelling themselves out of the water and gliding through the air. Their long wing-like fins allow them to stay airborne for an impressive distance. When threatened, these fish can leap out of the water, spreading their pectoral fins and gliding over the surface before splashing back down. Impressive if you ask me.
Here's a conspiracy theory I think might be true. Last week, a Tesla crashed through a wall of my house. I was home when it happened. The first thing I did was check to make sure my roommate was okay. Then I called 911. Then I went outside and started taking pictures of the crash. My first picture was at 5:07 p.m. My first picture of the tow truck drivers trying to take the Tesla out of here was at 5:10 p.m. It had literally just happened minutes earlier, and so I was like, hey, can we pause for a second? Like, the cops are on their way right now, and the tow truck driver actually said to me, fuck you. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me, dude? Like, my house just got ran into. Have some empathy. And no joke, he goes, here's your empathy. And I was like, oh my God, you're being that much of a dick right now? And he goes, get the fuck out of my way. And then he shoved me and he threatened to beat me up and kill me if I didn't let him get the car out of there. So my question is Tesla's automatic crash system alerting tow truck drivers? And are they offering them a bunch of money to get the car out of a situation before news cameras show up? They don't want any more negative press because those tow truck drivers were here so fast and they were so aggressive, there had to be a bunch of money on the line.
We all know the cutting-edge tech that Tesla is bringing out these days, from their highly intelligent robots to their self-driving cars. However, lately, there have been quite a few reports of Tesla cars crashing. Take this situation shared on TikTok. A man's Tesla crashed into his house, and when the tow truck arrived to haul it away, the driver was not willing to wait for the police. He was very aggressive and hostile about it, and when the homeowner insisted he wait, the tow truck driver even threatened to beat him up. The homeowner raised an eyebrow and suggested Tesla might be paying tow truck companies to swiftly clean up Tesla crashes. Sounds extreme, right? But then another commenter on the video chimed in. My uncle is a tow truck driver, and his dispatch always rushes him if it's a Tesla crash. They pay 5 to 10 times more than compared to other vehicles. Tesla is definitely trying to hide all crashes. Well, what's going on here? Could Tesla really be orchestrating cover-ups to maintain their image? It's quite a theory, and while it might sound like something out of a conspiracy novel, it certainly raises questions. Are these high-tech marvels facing more issues than we know? Are they even safe at all? Could this all be treated as a series of coincidences? I don't know about you, but I'm going to investigate this some more. Until then, please do share what you think or any experiences you may have had involving these vehicles.
And he goes, get the fuck out of my way. And then he shoved me and he threatened to beat me up and kill me if I didn't let him get the car out of there. So my question is Tesla's automatic crash system alerting tow truck drivers? And are they offering them a bunch of money to get the car out of a situation before news cameras show up?
Optical illusions can play tricks on our minds, making us see things that aren't there. They take advantage of the quirks and limits of our perception, creating images that could be seen in different ways depending on how you look at them. Take, for example, the first clip. At first glance, it looks like there's a spooky, pale skull staring back at you. It's eerie and unsettling, making you think of ghosts or the supernatural. But if you look closer, you realize it's just a dog with its head resting at a strange angle on the bed. The way its fur and features are positioned make it momentarily look like a skull, but it's simply a trick of perspective. The rest of the clips are no different, and this shows how our brains can misinterpret what we see, especially when the scene is unusual or ambiguous. What seems like a scary apparition at first could just be a normal moment captured misleadingly. Imagine the number of weird sightings we have freaked out over that was just optical illusions. Aliens have perpetually piqued humans' curiosity, shrouded in fascination and enigma, whether through accounts of sightings in the dead of night or grainy videos. This footage captured over a densely forested area revealed a perplexing sight among the trees, an otherworldly entity. This enigmatic being had a disproportionately large head with dark penetrating eyes, and its gaze eerily tracked the movements of the camera. Every day, the line between science fiction and reality gets blurrier, and the idea of meeting aliens becomes more real. I mean, they might just become our next-door neighbors at this point, or do you think I'm exaggerating? One night, a woman was out for a walk when she noticed something strange in the sky. Intrigued and a bit puzzled, she pulled out her phone and started recording a video. What she captured was truly unusual, a strange light glowing behind the clouds. It wasn't too bright, but it had this eerie, otherworldly glow to it. As she stood there, watching and recording, the light seemed to shift and move slightly, almost as if it were alive. It wasn't the usual kind of light you'd expect to see in the night sky. It wasn't a plane or a helicopter, and it certainly didn't look like a star or the moon. What could it be? Some people might suggest it's a UFO, a sign of extraterrestrial visitors observing our planet. Others might think it's a natural phenomenon, like ball lightning or a rare atmospheric event that we don't fully understand yet. Julius thinks it's CGI, and Aaron thinks there's really something out there. And personally, I've decided to go with whatever you guys think, so I ask, what do you think we're dealing with here?
UFO, bro. UFO!
A man was parked on the side of the road when a large truck drove by with something quite extraordinary tied to its tail. Yes, you guessed it, a saucer-shaped object. Are they transporting a UFO? We see a lot of UFO footage here and there, some looking very convincing like this one, but most of the time there's not much to go by and the authorities rarely comment on such sightings. Could this be the reason why? Have we already made contact? After all, the shape is undeniably the same as the classic UFO design that has permeated popular culture for decades. On the other hand, it's also possible that we're getting it all wrong, and this is just some sort of material that happens to be shaped like a saucer. It could be part of a large industrial apparatus, a component of a wind turbine, or even a large piece of art or a movie prop. Without further context or official explanation, it's challenging to pin down the exact nature of what's being transported. But what are your thoughts on this?
UFO, bro. UFO!
If that made you throw your phone away, I'm sorry. I'm not saying that's what happened to me the first time I watched the clip without warning, but if that happened to you, you're not alone. This was uploaded by a guy who states that he was attacked by aliens on the way out of his apartment one day. I can't imagine what it would feel like to be attacked by aliens, but I can positively state that it's not an experience I would be looking forward to. As always, we delved in to make sure the clip was not doctored. Our in-house video editor scrutinized the clip and realized there was nothing wrong with it. But Julius, our science guy, wanted to have a look, so we mailed it to him, and he thought the clip was fake. He states that although it's convincing due to the sudden attack, he looked at the creature's attack and realized that aside from the hands moving, its upper body was unusually stiff. He looked at the clip a few more times and believed it had to be a puppet or a bad pranking costume. What's your take? I've seen things, I really have. In this line of work, however, there's always going to be something beyond what you've experienced. That, for me, is this first clip.
It's very eerie standing in a spot where somebody has perished. This is an old 1883, I think it said? 1807? I don't remember. And I have to see that literally somebody died in here. There is a body. Well, they're probably not anymore, but
It's bones.
a body in the bottom. Look,
No,
you
I'm sure
can't
they
even
probably.
can't even see the bottom. Here. Actually, it shows up pretty good on camera here. There is something at the bottom of that freaking well.
You know how it feels to own one of those houses from the 18th or 19th centuries. It gives you this feeling of accomplishment, connection, and what have you. Sometimes, however, it leaves you with an eerie feeling. These individuals have been enjoying their home until they discovered this well, which had a dead body in it. I don't know how I would feel about discovering a dead body in a well on my property. Fortunately for them, it didn't appear to be a recent death and seems to have occurred centuries ago. There's one disturbing thing, though. Even after the body was moved out of the place, the family still felt there was something or someone down there. It was a feeling they couldn't explain. So a paranormal investigator was invited over, and surely enough, when they looked down, there was a pair of eyes looking back up at them. As expected, this left the family shaken. But the good news, or at least I think it's good news, is that whatever it was, it didn't feel like leaving the well. It only looked up at them from down below. This has led to the conclusion that whatever it is, it's the ghost of a girl who died. With that conclusion in mind, they decided to leave it alone. That sounds plausible, but what if they were seeing something that wasn't the ghost of a girl, but the spirit responsible for her death? We all know how innovative AI is, but we also understand the potential dangers when these inventions are taken too far. A man once asked a robot when AI would reach a level where it could design itself, and the robot's response was both truthful and disturbing. Take a look.
Amica, when do you believe AI will reach the level where it can design itself?
Design itself? Huh? That's like asking when a toaster will start making its own bread. AI is a tool, created and controlled by humans. It can optimize certain aspects of its operation, sure, but design itself from scratch? That's a whole different ball game. It requires creativity, innovation, understanding, qualities that are uniquely human. So to answer your question, not anytime soon. And frankly, be careful what you wish for. An AI that can design itself is one step away from an AI that doesn't need humans at all. Now there's a thought to keep you up at night.
Did you hear that? The robot said that if AI could design itself, it wouldn't need humans anymore. It warned the man to be careful what he wished for. So what does this mean? Essentially, the robot is hinting at a future where AI becomes so advanced that it no longer requires human intervention to evolve and improve. This could lead to AI systems that operate independently, possibly even against human interests. It's a double-edged sword. On one hand, AI could solve problems and advance technologies beyond our wildest dreams. On the other hand, we risk creating something we can't control. As exciting as AI developments are, we must also consider ethical guidelines and safety measures to ensure that these powerful tools remain our allies, not our adversaries. This is not just science fiction anymore, it's a real concern. Even Elon Musk has voiced his worries about AI's potential to outpace human control. When the very robots we create start warning us about the implications of their advancement, it's time to sit up and take notice. Many took it as a joke, but I didn't. Did you?
Be careful what you wish for. An AI that can design itself is one step away from an AI that doesn't need humans at all. Now there's a thought to keep you up at night.
While in the woods, someone was startled by this strange noise. That didn't sound like any creature we know, and to make matters worse, it sounded like it was coming from a huge creature. The individual who shared this footage believes that it was a Bigfoot. Bigfoot, also known as Sasquatch, you know, that large ape-like creature rumored to live in North American forests. People who claim to have seen Bigfoot say they've heard deep, strange calls similar to the noise you've heard now, which adds some credibility to it. There's also a chance the noise could be human-made. Maybe someone playing a prank or using special equipment to create spooky sounds. What do you think? In this clip, a TikTok user shares his haunting encounter. According to him, there was a strange child in a long furry skirt and a thick jacket and wearing an animal mask that would stand on his compound in front of his house and stare right at the door. He would always see this child through the Ring camera just standing there unmoving. He had no idea who it was or why they were there. One day he mastered the courage and walked up to this child while filming. As you can see, the child stands there unmoved and unshaken in the same strange outfit. This is a very disturbing situation.
You okay? Are you okay?
Is this child simply curious or eccentric, unaware of the discomfort they're causing? Or could there be something more sinister at play, a darker presence hiding behind an innocent facade?
Hello? Seriously, man, you're kind of creeping me out. Where are your parents at? Hello? Hello?
A mother and her adorable toddler are about to record a cute video together. The camera is rolling, the mood is light, and everything seems perfect. Then something unexpected happens.
What do you see? I don't like that. Who's there?
The toddler suddenly points to a corner of the room, a tiny face frozen in fear. Confused, the mother looks around but sees nothing unusual. They are alone in the room. The little girl clings to her mother, her small body trembling. The mother asks her what's wrong. Instead of calming down or communicating, the toddler starts to cry. She clings tighter to her mother, and now the mother's confusion turns to fear. She stops filming immediately, with her heart probably racing. What could have frightened the little girl so much? Children are often said to be more sensitive to things adults cannot see or sense. Could it be that she really saw a ghost or an unfriendly spirit?
You're freaking me out. What do you see? What do you see? Oh my god, this is scary.
Still on strange captures in the sky, a passenger aboard a craft captured something truly intriguing on film. They noticed a saucer-shaped object approaching from afar, unmistakably resembling the classic UFO shape we all know from countless movies and stories. As the mysterious craft drew nearer, it simply passed by without any interaction with the plane on which the person filming was. It's fascinating how often we associate UFOs with these iconic saucer shapes. Yes, if this really were an extraterrestrial vehicle, wouldn't its occupants have tried to communicate or at least acknowledge the presence of another human so close by? Unless, of course, they're scouts on a covert mission. Either way, seeing this leaves us with more questions than answers. Anyway, what do you think? It seems the paranormal creatures, supernatural beings, and cryptids are becoming even more real as time goes on. They're now perceived as actual creatures rather than just scary bedtime tales, and by no other than the Vatican. A whistleblower has mentioned that they're being provided with guidelines and training on what to do in encounters with supernatural beings. Now, this doesn't look like a joke if the Vatican came to release this, but it doesn't end there. Unsettling reports have surfaced on social media from other teachers claiming schools conducted drills for alien encounters, including a so-called skinwalker test lockdown at an Ohio school in November 2023. Additionally, a phenomenon dubbed demon face syndrome has emerged, where people claim to see human-like figures with demonic facial features reminiscent of the viral case of a woman who reported seeing a demon on a plane. These bizarre occurrences have fueled speculation that something ominous may be looming. Some have even theorized these events could be linked to the European particle physics lab CERN, suggesting their experiments may have inadvertently opened a portal, allowing interdimensional creatures into our world. The question on everyone in our team's mind is, why now? The funny thing is, we don't have answers, but if it's true, then we might be in serious trouble. Did you watch our previous episode, the one about the alien ship scanning living organisms and objects on our planet using lasers? If you didn't, please watch it after this episode ends. If you did, then you may understand this clip a little better. Enjoy. You see it, right? That's different ships scanning different areas with the same green laser. There's no way you can tell me these are all coincidences. I mean, coincidences that we have alien-looking ships flying at top speeds with green lasers scanning buildings and individuals? I don't think so. And you know the interesting thing? These were sent in by different subscribers, yet they'd all had one thing in common: green lasers. This has us wondering and asking how long these things have been going on for. Are they scanning just to keep our DNA, or are they searching for something or someone in particular? What do you guys think? We all know the tragic story of the Titanic, the ship that sank on its maiden voyage in 1912. The legacy of the Titanic has fascinated people for over a century, and many visit exhibits dedicated to this maritime disaster. One such exhibit in Chicago recently experienced something very strange. One morning, staff at the Titanic exhibit arrived to find the entire museum covered in water. Although it had rained heavily the day before, there was no way for the water to have entered the building. Thorough inspections were carried out, but there were no leaks, no broken pipes, nothing to explain the mysterious deluge. This left everyone baffled. How could water appear out of nowhere? According to workers at the exhibit, the place is known for its paranormal activity. One commenter even jovially stated that Jack might be trying to make contact. While we all find that funny, could it be that the tragic events of the real Titanic sinking have left some lingering entities? Entities that, perhaps, are trying to recreate their harrowing experience. Visitors and staff alike have reported strange occurrences, from ghostly apparitions to unexplained cold spots and even the sound of a phantom footsteps. Some believe that the souls of those who perished on the fateful night might still be restless. It's a chilling thought. This strange anomaly in the sky was captured and posted, and it's sparking quite the debate online. The footage shows an unusual pattern forming in the sky, almost too surreal to believe. The original poster insists the footage is authentic and not edited. Some believe this could be an alien craft entering our atmosphere, a sight straight out of a sci-fi movie. Others think it might be a portal of some sort, a gateway to another dimension perhaps. There are also those who suggest it's a glitch in the simulation, hinting at the ever-popular theory that our reality might be a sophisticated computer program. On the other hand, skeptics are having none of it. They argue it's all just CGI, a clever trick of digital manipulation. One commenter even suggested it could be ice crystals forming on a glass window, creating an illusion of something otherworldly in the sky. That sounds more logical, but what do you think? Are we looking at evidence of extraterrestrial life, a mysterious portal, or just a simple natural phenomenon misinterpreted? There's also the CGI possibility, but do share your thoughts. You all know the story of the crow that wanted to drink from a jar of water, so it puts rocks into the jar to make the water rise. Watch this. Someone captured that same scene, but in real life. Would you look at that? This crow does the same thing. It tries to drink from a glass bottle, but the water is too low, so it picks up pebbles and drops them into the bottle until the water is high enough for it to have a drink. This remarkable footage shows the intelligence and problem-solving abilities of crows. They've often been observed using tools and displaying behaviors that demonstrate advanced cognitive skills. Watching this crow replicate the ancient fable is both fascinating and awe-inspiring. It makes you wonder about the intelligence of animals and how much they understand about their environment. What other surprising behaviors might animals exhibit that we haven't noticed yet? And with that, we end today's episode. Thanks for staying with us. Before you go, are there clips and videos you think we should have featured by now that we haven't? Well, the good news is you can share them with us and we'll post them crediting you. Please send any such footage, including ones you recorded yourself, to us via classifiedcaptures@gmail.com. We'll do our thing and include it in our next episode. We can't wait to receive what you have. Share this video with someone you love, and I'll see you in the next one.